For us!
For poetry!
For poetry!
For us!
For us!
For free will!
For free will!
For us!
For us!
For literature!
For literature!
Oh, Haven!
Our haven!
The Panopticon!
The Panopticon!
Nowhere else but here!
Doris, that blind writer? 3 days ago, she asked me for directions to Comala prison.
Prison? This is an experimental facility. Soon you'll see just what that means.
Jailer, who is the ruler of this prison?
According to the agreement, the Idealist and I represent the two factions of La Sociedad. In light of his possible assassination, the Congress will now be chaired by me. What are we doing here? What even is this prison?
You are a prisoner of Comala, and a guest of Manus Vindictae.
Fiction and reality are two parts of a whole. We're trapped in a story with a predetermined ending. The kind of person I aspire to become, an embodiment of the dream to wander. A foolishly brave protagonist must also be a knight who fights for literature. I have all the essentials for writing poetry. You, me, and our opponent. Bravo! A gloriously silly and thrilling act of improvisation.
Chaos, evil, desolation, cold. They all can twist one's mind. There is no true self hidden beneath our outer visage. No, there is nothing true about what is simply shaped by society. Careful. The night stimulates the madness lingering in our minds. It's best you don't rush into things. You have a long night ahead.
This fire requires concentration. Stay focused. Light the lamp. Reveal the secrets. Just a little test of skill.
Okay, hello everyone, my name is Kajari and welcome back to Reverse 1999 with the latest chapter, chapter 9, Folie and Déraison. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly. Hi Julian, welcome. If you don't know what this means, I do some research. So it means madness and unreason. Wow. I mean, when you look at the trailer, I kind of like the title is actually makes sense because I think we're going to go to an asylum, right? It kind of remind me of like, you know, Arkham Asylum with or Outlast, that horror game. Alam is kind of creepy though. I don't even know if I'm going to pull for him or not. So yeah, either I will depend on whether I'm going to end up liking him or not. Aleph, but Recoleta, she's already on my team. Of course, I cannot stand with such a cutie not on my team. So I definitely have to pull for her. Yeah, Recoleta. I don't even know if she's meta or not because like I don't even know her skill. New male character I pull. Yeah. Okay, so
Oh, it's nothing. I just
after the
have
trend
this
of fire
creeping
team event, now we have
feeling
a
that we're still
prison team
trapped in a
event.
ghost town.
Well,
Or
technically,
aboard a
Battle
foolish
Noir is
ship
always like prison
drifting
team
eternally
in a
in
sense.
restless waters. I suppose this
Right.
feeling won't
So,
fade easily.
just a little bit
Will it?
recap of what happened because I also for myself, I think on previous chapter we went to Brazil, right, with Lopera and I think there was like Anjodala at the time, and we were in the search of Professor Earth, which is the blind lady, right? But as far as I remember, she got kidnapped, I think. I mean, like by Igor to be handed to Manus, who, by the way, Igor is like, was it Igor? His name, the old daddy, the one you like, Julian. Yeah. So he kind of kidnapped her or something and bring it to Manus, but at the same time not really giving it to Manus directly. She kind of like protect her in a way from Manus, but you know, using her like maybe like a bargaining chip or something, right? After that, we are skipping to like the next event, which is the last evening on Earth, which is basically we are going to Australia, and we are jumping to this Titanic-like ship. You know, we meet Grace, and then Grace gathering some energy for some ritual, which I believe is going to some energy that's going to be used to revive Arcana in the future. I'm still believe Arcana going to come back. And then last but not least is the last event, which is the showdown at Chinatown, which I don't think that's like very impactful things other than the ending, which is kind of reveal how is the Matilda Mother's doing. She may be a spy. I don't know at this point if Matilda Mother is like a friend or foe at this point. So yeah, so it seems that we are still in search of Professor Earth this time, because from the trailer, Recoleta says something about a blind writer, which is she's the only one in here. I mean, I play as Eiko, right? And their last event is about prison, so I wonder if this gacha will follow some kind of trends. Oh, right. How is Ash Eiko doing? Why MC always get kidnapped? Honest question. I don't think did Fertin ever get kidnapped? I don't think Fertin ever got kidnapped. Okay, so this time we are gonna go with Soneto. Last time we go with Regulus. This time, wait, the Soneto was there too? I think Soneto was there too. But this time we're gonna go with Soneto alone. It seems. Wait, let me check how long is this gonna be. How many chapter? 18. So maybe expecting like maybe 20 with the epilogue. Yes, this is the new chapter. Sometimes about Reverse 1999 though, I can't really feel the difference between new chapter and event, because they're all like important in a sense. So the Platonic year rolls out new right and wrong, rolls in the old instead. All men are dancer and their threat goes to the barbarous clangor of a gong. W.B. Yeats, 1919. I wonder if that's a real person. Recoleta is here. It's the final days of March, and the daylight hours in Ushuaia are shrinking anyway. Do I pronounce it correct? Really platonic? I know it's platonic relation. Past the busy season, the city is faded and quiet. At this moment, in a cafe at the end of the world, conversation and laughter are sealed within an airtight glass dome.
Hace algunos años, trabajé como guardabosques en un campamento en Cuernavaca.
I think if you cannot hear what she said, I think it's because we are basically outside, okay? Because the music is pretty loud.
Estaba especialmente agradecido de que estuviera ahí. Unos animales habían entrado al campamento y los ahuyenté por él. No fue gran cosa, en realidad. Como muestra de agradecimiento.
What language? What language is speaking?
Extraña historia. Una que ocurrió en un pueblo del desierto de Sonora, llamado Amalfitano, en 1975. La gente ahí seguía una creencia muy poco ortodoxa, que giraba en
But you know the name
torno al
Recoleta
Tao de
remind me of
Babilón.
Rolek. Yeah, it's almost similar.
Un día, una investigadora con una maleta llegó al pueblo. Vino a estudiar sus costumbres locales. Una razón nada sorprendente para que una intelectual erudita apareciera en un remoto asentamiento del desierto.
With a suitcase? I thought you're going to refer to the timekeeper, but I don't think so.
But little did she know, this dusty old town and its peculiar custom would lead her down an entirely unexpected
Is
path.
it like a prophecy?
Hold on. Sorry to interrupt, Recoleta. Does this researcher have a name? She could be Nora, Joanna, or Teresa. Any name, really. I feel like you want people focusing on this story, not keeping track of who's who.
This is actually correct. Confusion and shock intertwine on the storyteller's face. Oh, she's a storyteller.
Thank you for your advice.
I think you got it wrong, Julian. I think she's not a pirate.
But she isn't a Nora, or a Joanna, or a Teresa. She's just herself. A paracausality researcher.
You see that look? She's halfway to eating you alive. Face it, Maria. She wouldn't be the loca we know if she listened to anyone.
Ah, alright. So you didn't like the opening. Fine. I'll come up with something new. Maybe I'll start with a bit of exposition
The
on the
story without
Die of
living
Babylon,
can be confusing
beginning
sometimes.
with its origins. As a
Yeah,
secret relic created by an Aztec priest, imprisoned by the conquistadores.
How do you even refer to the MC then? How do you call it? The mysterious Die origin never gets a continuation, as her story is interrupted a second time.
I don't know if that's going to do much, hermana. I'm beginning to think we'll never figure out what you're trying to say with this novel.
Especially with the pronunciation.
And,
Or the
well...
pronouns, yeah.
And this isn't your fault.
Ay, Dios. Just tell her, Maria. We're going back to Buenos Aires.
¿De vuelta a Buenos Aires? ¿De repente? ¿Así? ¿Sin más? Pancho, Maria, what's going on? Did I do something wrong during our travels?
The phrase make it in first POV. Yeah, that's actually quite interesting way of telling a story. The startled storyteller eyes her companions for the last 2 months, searching for reasons.
Ah, see. I know what it is. I've bored you with my constant rambling over this novel.
No, Recoleta. It's got nothing to do with your novel.
Are they getting married?
Don't you get it? We're flat broke.
Oh, okay, you're broke.
Why do you think we're stuck here scrubbing tables?
The man slammed his damn washcloth on the table to emphasize his point. His voice breaks the illusion of silence in the cafe.
Because we can't pay for all the mate we've been drinking.
That wasn't a question, Regoleta. We've crossed the continent, crashed the readings of all those prestigious poets, and lived the way a real artist should. And, I admit it, it's been just as amazing as you promised. But we can't go on living like this.
You know that we both care about you, and we believe in your novel too. I'd be lying if I said this journey meant nothing to me. Getting to ride around the continent on a motorcycle like Che Guevara himself?
Look at Recoleta.
I never could have imagined
face.
I'd get the chance to go on an adventure like this. We got to live the dream.
A real dream. Except for those days when the motorcycle broke down. Though that was a real tribute to Che's journey too.
Che's here? Che's here.
Don't tease, Pancho. Recoleta, since you invited us to join the Visceral Realists, we've both found amazing new ways to channel our inner poetry. Even though I still don't understand what in the world you're trying to say with your novel, or for that matter, what visceral realism actually is.
I don't think they're choose though.
Maria,
Or maybe they're just embracing
Pancho.
freedom.
You told us not to worry about the definitions, to feel and to live in our words. We did just as you said, and it felt great. But
Like Fyodor, he can live in luxury and continue his dream, but he decided to be broke. I think you need to some context with decide to be broke. I don't think there is person that purposely want to be broke. Maybe he after something, but just not money. In a sense. Snow falls from the dimming sky. The season is shifting. Soon, gray and white will blanket the colorful houses of this desolate land.
ahora el frío del invierno se instala. Y lo único que parece importante es ese pequeño
Are we
pueblo
in the
ficticio.
Argentina or something? The storyteller sings back against their accusation, searching for words.
I appreciate your honesty, amigos. I was worried the problem was much worse than all that. Winter here isn't as dreadful as you think, and I know just the place to keep us warm. It was 1520. Arcanist Ferdinand Magellan sailed across unfamiliar waters under orders from the Spanish crown. Over the vast gray sea, he saw spots of light in the distance. An island. He named it Tierra del Fuego. For the next 400 years, Ushuaia faithfully served
Ushuaia.
its role at the end of the world. It became the continent's penal colony, and its largest building even served as a prison. Many Arcanists were exiled there. By the turn of the century, the Arcanist hunt had reached its peak, and the Comala Sanatorium was built. Well, as you may already know, at that time, most Arcanists were believed to be victims of madness. The sanatorium was their ship of fools. However, as people began to realize that Arcanist blood wasn't a guarantee of madness, fewer and fewer were imprisoned there. By 1947, it was officially closed. Until the 1970s, when a group of people from the National Foucault Studies Association returned to the island with new ideas for the location. They spoke in abstract terms and opaque theories that no one could understand. They rebuilt this place and gave it a new name. After a long period of construction, the Comala Sanatorium became a prison once more, one designed to hold Arcanist criminals. They were taken from the streets and the psychiatric clinics, from secret societies and rebel groups. Any Arcanist deemed mentally or socially unfit would be locked away there. This association claimed the inmates would receive the best treatment, and they would fully recover before being returned to society. A prison, a medical lab, a sanatorium, call it whatever you want. That is what Comala is today. And we could spend the whole winter there. It'd probably be the easiest winter we've ever had. All that it requires is a little bit of acting. It won't be hard to pass ourselves off as a bunch of unstable crackpots.
Why do you want to get
A
into
touch of madness comes parceled with the gifts of being an Arcanist.
That's your brilliant idea? To get us locked up in an asylum? You understand we'd be prisoners there, don't you? It's not like we get to put our feet up and relax by a fire.
Her increasingly agitated companion turned his head aside, catching the faint outline of a patrolling gendarme through the frosted window.
You want to go to jail? Well, see that man
So
over
she will go to the prison to
Go
live
greet him with
comfortably.
a
I don't
punch to
think
the
so.
jaw, then you'll be set for the whole winter.
Sounds like a good idea. Recoleta, please. We're not messing with the Gendarmeria.
What? Gendarmeria?
We're going to my Aunt Julia's. She said she could take us in at her vineyard up north near the capital. Well, it's harvest season. They could use all the help they can get. We'll return to Ushuaia next year.
Ushuaia.
Or when the winter has passed. It'll still be great.
Recoleta's expression is as cold as the mate tea on the table.
I hear you, amigos. But respectfully, I must turn down your offer. This has been more than just a road trip for me. I know sticking around here for the winter won't be easy. But this could be my last chance. What if things change again? I can't just wait for spring.
That's my single skill for real. I do agree.
Recoleta.
What did I tell you, Maria?
It's so
She
cultured
never
also with
listens.
other languages.
Wasting your breath. Adios, Recoleta. I don't think we'll meet again.
Pancho apologetic words freeze in his mouth.
Mierda! Those gendarmes are looking straight at us!
Gendarmes.
What?
Whoa! Close the door! The gust of cold air and dampness sweeps through the room. Recoleta hair stands on end with a chill as she turns to face the door.
Stop right there! You three match the descriptions of some intruders at the poetry meeting in Casa Pionera.
Recoleta plans a response, only to hear the scrambling sound of her companion bolting away out the back door.
Just when I thought things couldn't get any worse.
Did they just leave her alone? What kind of friend is that? Okay, I'm gonna try Recoleta.
Bravo! A gloriously silly and thrilling act of
I'm not quite sure who I have
Always ready to go.
to pair her with.
Be fearless, whether you're an icy wind or scorching.
I'm here to help.
Embrace rather than resist.
Okay, how do I play her? What is this?
En todos los momentos.
Más allá del concepto mundano del tiempo.
Please stay behind me.
Well, they don't have to punch the Gendarme to go prison then.
No way.
Oh, it's impossible. Wait, did she just use her ultimate so early?
Do I
How?
have to do this?
Be careful.
Not a fan of my work,
My
I take it?
responsibility.
Yep, she did use her ultimate.
Camino
How?
Patlón. En todos los momentos.
By the way,
Una
I completely
acumulación de
forgot to...
laberintos. Suéltalo todo una vez más.
Oh, this is the ultimate. Whoa. It's actually pretty
Case
cool.
closed.
But we have to
I'll
have
be
a
sure to
highlight.
write a report and put it on your table.
You don't have to worry
And
about
please
elemental
don't forget to
reaction.
check the
But
previous
isn't it the
reports too, ma'am.
early stage always easy? The gendarme. Oh shit. The gendarmes are left. Oh god damn it. Oh no, not the paper. Until she stumbled on a patch of wet and mushy snow.
Gracias a Dios. Creo que los perdimos. Are you alright?
Ah,
Well, she
gracias.
has blood and wound.
Better to kiss the ground than kiss the gendarme's boots, if one must choose. Wait a second. Doris, is that you?
Huh?
Funny how life moves in circles and puts an old friend in my path. How have you been? Are you paying another visit to Kamala?
Doris?
Doris.
No, the front is actually run first through the back door. Leave her alone, to be honest, actually. An apple falls from the sky, offered by a girl who has just face planted and cannot see the figure before her.
Timekeeper, could she mean our Dr. Doris?
So the theory that Doris probably 13 mother probably true, isn't it?
Was I mistaken?
She wipes the snow from her face. Still dizzy, she makes out the stranger before her. As her vision clears, it becomes apparent that fate is not a perfect loop. At least the person holding the suitcase in front of her is not the same woman she met before. Oh, so the one that in the story is her inspiration. It's probably Doris.
How strange. I've never seen two people so alike. But please, forgive me. It's been a long day.
No need to apologize. In fact, the person you just mentioned sounds like someone we're looking for. Could you tell me where you last saw her?
The red hair guy. Of course it is.
Sure, Excuse me. You're not from around here,
You
are
know her
you?
with him and
Your
hugged him so
accents and
much.
those clothes give you away.
Is it like story-wise or
Come with
skill-wise?
me. I know a warmer place to talk.
Oh, whoa! So many.
The moment armies start to march, the world stands still. You fight or fall back, charge forward or run. Those are the only rules on the battlefield. I don't see a start time on this report, nor does it state the reason for or the demands of this war. That's what you think. The scars left on the land may be the most obvious form of destruction, but the true devastation of war is one that develops gradually in the souls of people. You don't? The young riders have all been exiled, sent down a path with no signs to follow and no destination. In dark days of bloody conflict, soldiers often find comfort in scriptures and verses, or in letters from their loved ones. They hold those words close, a fragile piece of home, a brief solace from the roaring of the battlefield. But as they fall one by one, they learn the bitter truth. No destiny awaits them but death. That bitter homesickness still weighing heavy in their hearts. In dreams, maybe. Walking the streets of your hometown, spending a lazy afternoon at the writing desk. Dreams can take you anywhere. But live there too long, and the lines between fiction and reality will blur. And soon, you'll never wake up again. Soldiers crawl through trenches, roll in the mud, and charge to their deaths again and again, while words are forever trapped within the confines of poetry, made to live, die, and live again under the golden prophecy. I can't stand the way poets talk.
But I don't really understand. Like that part of the reverse 1999. Port explosion. Like I don't really want to read that bunch of text. Is it because it's a different chapter, since I'm sure the voice is much more deeper in my memory? The thing is, like, it's always, sometimes it's different. Sometimes it's a woman, sometimes that guy, I don't know. And I don't, until now, I'm not sure what it does that represent. It's like 13 inside Thor. But did she just come back to the same cafe?
According to these news reports from Ushuaia, there was an arcane attack on the pier about a week ago.
All the ships in the port were destroyed.
Oh, I think that was the news that we just see just now.
Could Manus Vindictae be responsible for this? Or perhaps the Xeno rebels?
Hard to say. But things have been suspiciously quiet these past few days. I had been hoping we'd find some clues here in Ushuaia, after we lost track of the Manus, in the Free Breeze shipwreck. They would have gone to ground somewhere remote and off the radar. Indeed, it's possible they've already left Ushuaia. For whatever reason, it seems they haven't been pushing for the storm to happen quite as eagerly as before.
Do I pull for Recoleta? Yes, I do. I
have
got
a
her.
strange feeling about it all. They're definitely up to
Pretty
something.
lucky with him, Trimulti.
For now, it seems our new friend's story lines up with the intel from Moth.
I think
It seems the Xeno
haven't
rebels
seen
really
it.
did bring Dr. Dorez here. We should see if there's anything more she can tell us.
Timekeeper,
The chief assistant hesitates.
the Foundation doesn't have any intelligence on Tierra del Fuego. If the Manus really are here,
3. Trimulti.
then we'll be on our own.
And on the second one, I
closest
got
Foundation branch is in Buenos
Kakania for
Aires,
some reason. I lost
3,200
50-50.
kilometers away.
So I got like 2 6-star in that Trimulti, technically. She reflects without words, a reminder that the chaos caused by Igor's rebellion is still fresh.
Careful and well considered as ever, Soneto. It's possible they've already infiltrated Ushuaia.
Oh, your name is
just
Evil
as they did in
13.
Chisos.
Are we gonna see Evil 14 in the
But the
future?
Xeno rebels may still be holding Dorez. We can't just wait around. I'm afraid we'll have to take the risk. Ushuaia is not very big. If Manus Vindictae is here, we'll notice. Stay sharp.
Understood, Timekeeper. I'll keep an eye out for them and for Dr. Dorez.
Why they never bring the full team though? After a chaotic hunt and escape, the cafe regains its usual peace. The gendarmes are gone, and so too are Recoleta's companions.
My friends. They're really gone.
No, we are your friend now.
Adios, Recoleta. I don't think we'll meet again. So that's all I get? We could have exchanged some farewell poems, read them out loud like we used to, and shed a few bitter tears over our heartfelt goodbyes.
Well, people are broke and then they got chased by police.
But you know
So,
what they say.
We don't have
Goodbyes are
time.
only a senseless feast of unhappiness. Pardon? Oh, it's nothing. Never mind.
Yeah,
Please,
Bertina.
sit down. And could we get a pot of mate with mint, please?
I thought she's broke. How come she keep ordering mate?
Thank you.
Recoleta watches with interest as the two girls take the offered cup of tea. Is she gonna pay it though?
So you're looking for Doris? I can tell she's important to you from your look. Correct. Is there anything more you could tell us about the day you met her? Of course. It was one of those gray, overcast afternoons.
Oh, flashback. Whoosh.
I had just turned onto Calle Bolivar when I ran into this blind woman on my way to the post
Wait,
office.
because she spent it on coffee.
To be exact, I didn't run into her. She called to me. It felt like a sacred moment in time. Like something unworldly. I just stood there, frozen, as she walked up and fixed a loose thread on my sweater. I stared at her until my fingers went numb, and the letter almost slipped out of my hand.
Miss, could you tell me what's in that direction?
I followed her hand as she pointed forward. Strangely, even though I could see she was blind, I had a feeling that she knew exactly where she was pointing and where she intended to go. That's the way to Comala prison, Senora.
Oh, she's going there.
Is that where you're headed? I could walk you there if you'd like.
Thank you, miss. But I think I found my way.
To prison?
She held a typewriter. How ironic that God would give her, at once, both books and night. I am Recoleta. What may I call you, miss? I hope you don't mind me asking, Senora. I didn't mean to pry. It's only that I have to know. you're a writer too, aren't you? I've been working on a novel and, for some reason, I have this feeling you could be a character in it. Forgive me. I'm just so excited. I really want to remember this moment. Please, may I have your name? Or whatever you'd like me to call you?
Oh, don't tell me she's not giving.
I don't think I'll ever forget her smile. It was soft, kind, almost merciful.
There's a scene in
and
trailer
oddly,
where someone gets
it
chopped
felt
off.
so ancient.
That's the part that you get.
No offense taken, Miss Recoleta. But first, I have a question for you. What does literature mean to you?
Sorry? What a question it was. I wasn't expecting anything like it.
You're a writer, are you not? And one I sense with purpose. Tell me, where does such powerful motivation come from?
Actually, well, I'm not sure, Senora. I have my pursuits and questions, but literature is neither the goal nor the answer to them. Literature is, well, it's just literature. I suppose if I had to define it, I'd say it's a tool. A kindling for fire, or a lens to see through. A means to explore and raise questions from different angles and express our perspectives.
And what an interesting perspective you've expressed. I see. But how does literature make you feel?
As though I'm a kid looking through a kaleidoscope for the first time. Well, maybe that's not the best way to put it. Perhaps something a little more subtle. Just when I was looking for the right word, she turned away with a little wave, heading toward the prison, her feet crunching over the fine snow.
Wait, what about your name?
So she must have gone to the prison.
So how does she know that her name is Doris?
When did all of this happen? About 3 days ago.
3 days ago?
I remember the sun came out for a while that day, and the streets were glistening with melting snow.
So I could just let her free like that.
You've heard of Gamela Prison, haven't you?
I mean, if 3 days ago, and she already obsessed with her, word by word, the question turned from an implication into a declaration.
3 days
I think
ago.
she goes or
Then we
gets
may be able to
invisible
catch
name
up with her there, timekeeper.
Was there a name tag?
You're right. We need to get there as soon as we can.
She should be still there, right?
Wow, amazing. So decisive, assertive. A true show of character.
She'll be like, this is the two friend that I need.
You must
Forget
be the
about
very
Pancho.
archetype of
Forget
a
about
charismatic leader.
the other girl. Forget her name.
What's left to say?
The kind of
Whenever
person
the
that want to go
protagonist
to
has
that
what they
prison
want
is
fall
my
into their
friend.
laps, we're all quick to complain about lazy writers using Deus Ex Machina to keep the story together. So let's not dwell on it.
She reconciled this observation with a silent nod to an unseen author.
But anything can happen in a place like Ushuaia. It's a city where the day may only last 4 hours and the streets are full of exiled arcanists.
Really? The day only 4 hours? It's good time for fasting then.
We appreciate your help.
Go to Ushuaia during the Ramadan.
Recoleta, please think nothing of it. Miss Recoleta, I'm Vertin, and this is Soneto. We're investigators from the St. Pablo Foundation.
Better writing. I totally agree.
Pleasure to meet you.
I don't know, it's a lot
Likewise,
of AAA
likewise.
writing is
Glad that I could help.
shit this
But
day.
listen, ladies.
Too many agenda. The latest one that I kinda admit good again is probably Claire Obscure. That is so good. You have to check it, Julian. The girl wins playfully.
Everything happens for a reason, and now it's becoming clear. You're going to Kamala prison, and so am I.
Wait,
Maybe it's fate that brought us together. What's your business there? If you don't mind our asking. Oh, it's a writer's mission. But anyway, we're friends now.
You know, like the way she's going to infiltrate an asylum, bringing notebook and everything, kind of like Outlast. What do you call it? Plot.
If you're going to Kamala, you'll need someone who knows the way.
Oh, she's been there before? I still confused about AAA game. Like, what's the difference? I don't even know. I just consider it's probably like the $60, what do you call it? Game. Or probably something that made by a big company. Who knows? The grey riverbed winds through the frostbitten earth, disappearing into the distant horizon. A neat yet dilapidated circular complex stands alone beneath the snow-capped mountain, as if abandoned by God, humanity, and ghosts alike. Outside the fence, 3 uninvited guests discuss their plan to get inside.
Behold! Komala Prison. It's the biggest building around. When the sun comes out, it looks like a rusty button stitched into the earth. Everyone tries not to pay attention to it, but it's undoubtedly one of the most important places in town. This way. Careful. We're heading uphill. Oops!
The young writer began to sleep again. She's prevented only by Soneto's quick reflexes.
Thanks. So, my new friends, you're from that St. Palominos?
Said Pavlov.
St. Pavlov Foundation. And Vertin is the timekeeper there.
Ah, very
Look at Soneto,
impressive.
so proud,
Sounds
introducing
all
Vertin.
official and polished. Then I take it you've already got away into the prison?
No. They get present an unwelcoming face to the world.
I'll draft a letter to headquarters right away. Once they approve it, they'll notify the local branch in Buenos Aires. From there, they'll need to inform the Argentine government,
So we are in the Argentina.
who will then issue us a permit.
Excellent. Looks like our bureaucrats still have some worth. No offense intended, of course.
I thought we were gonna infiltrate it.
Since we're pressed for time, I believe we can ask that headquarters give high priority to our request. If all goes well, we should have the permit in about a month.
That is too long.
Ah, how expedient of them. But you know what? Maybe we shouldn't bother all those hard-working government officials with these trifling matters after all.
She instantly returns to her previous judgment.
I have a simpler solution that suits the urgency of our cause.
That sounds great. Oh, where are you going, Miss Recoleta?
America decided to be a criminal itself to going. The best way to get a prison is not to infiltrate it, but become the criminal, indeed. Before anyone can stop her, the young writer hauls herself up the wall, scaling the side with the sort of skill that immediately suggests she's done this before.
To the other side of the wall, of course. From Guadalajara to Ushuaia. There has yet to be a wall that could stop me. Come on, ladies of the Foundation. Soneto, take my hand.
Soneto looks utterly flustered.
Miss Recoleta, please. A reckless act like that could have serious consequences. Please come back down.
Yeah, you're gonna get me expelled, says Soneto.
In fact, while the details of our mission are classified, I should warn you it may be dangerous, and we cannot guarantee your safety once we're inside. Perhaps it's in your best interest to return to town.
What? That is definitely not in my best interest. What sort of pusillanimous coward would I be if I just abandoned my fated companions here? Of course I'm going in with you. Or rather, you're coming with me.
Did she just refer to her friend? Pusillanimous coward.
Please get down, Miss Recoleta. Someone's coming our way.
Oh no, from the other side of the prison fence, a predator gaze locked onto the figure perched on the wall.
Stop right there. What do you think you're doing?
Why does it sound like Potier?
Caramba, it's her again. The jailer of Komala.
Did she say jailer or jaguar?
Is it a jaguar?
Embrace
Is it
rather than
jaguar?
resist.
How cute!
En todos los momentos, más allá del
I don't know, I
concepto
kinda miss
mundano del
Liang
tiempo.
Yue.
强梁既出，
She's using the ultimate. How?
Cosmología, filosofía clásica, el fundamento del mundo. Do I have to do this? Take a deep breath.
Please stay behind me.
Relax. En todos los momentos.
Sorry, Kitty.
Case closed. I'll be sure to write a report and put it on your table.
Oh.
Miss Recoleta, haven't I made myself clear? I don't want to see you here again.
Is that a sword? Did the jaguar just use a sword?
Taylor, we meet again. What a delightful encounter on such a...
A sudden gust of cold wind interrupts her.
lovely day.
Okay, I like Recoleta already.
Would you please just leave this place alone? I'll never understand why a promising young woman like you keeps snooping around a prison. I can't make this any clearer. Trying to break into Kamala will do nothing to get you inside, but it will get you into a world of trouble with the Gendarmeria.
The Gendarmeria. Also, that fur looks so warm.
So, will you stop these senseless breaking attempts? Kamala Prison is only accessible to academic researchers and journalists, and even they must have official credentials in order to enter.
Wait, why do you call it prison though? What's the prisoner? As you can
Isn't
see,
there
the
any other
escape
way to
this
pay a
jailer.
visit? I truly do need to get in there.
This jailer is the fastest. That's a good one. She racks her brain for a plausible excuse.
Sorry to interrupt. But did you just say official
Oh,
credentials?
here comes the timekeeper.
Yes, you heard me right. And you are?
I'm the timekeeper of the St. Pavlov Foundation. My assistant and I are here to visit Kamala Prison on official orders from the Foundation. Here, this is my ID.
She's blushing. At the thought of lying, so that her lips fail to open for even a squeak. She goes flush red with embarrassment. Aww, she's so sweet. Is that the sword in the genre? Possibly, yeah. That's what I'm curious also. To the prison fans, the jailer examines the pair as she takes the ID in her sizable paw. Paw. Verdin. Must be destroyed with animals alike once lost. What is this? This is like a student pass.
This is indeed legitimate.
She murmurs. Why she looks so good on the freaking picture? Why we always go?
Welcome to Kamala Prison.
She's so photogenic.
Apologies for my earlier behavior. It's been a while since we've had any official visitors.
Oh, they should have shown Soneto. Wow, that easy to get to the jail. But this is the first MC that's photogenic.
Día tras día, la investigadora de paracausalidad se escondía en la naturaleza fuera del pueblo de Amalfitano, estudiando los datos que había recolectado. Una tarde, al anochecer, una voz llamó desde fuera de su cueva.
Let me get my
Ella
snack.
dejó el equipo y las cintas y salió afuera. Un hombre estaba de pie, curioso, frente a su puerta.
¿Qué haces aquí? Preguntó, levantando ambas cejas. Nada sucede en Amalfitano en estos días. El local se presentó como el empleado del banco. Probablemente tenía la cara más amable del lugar. Ojos brillantes, mejillas levantadas, una mandíbula suave. Era una cara llena de esperanza. La investigadora le mostró los espectros que había estado recopilando. He estado recolectando historias sobre el dado, explicó. Quizás ellos contienen la clave para explicar la aleatoriedad que muestra el destino. Ah, eso realmente me intriga, respondió rápidamente el empleado del banco. Me encantaría escuchar todo sobre eso, pero debo irme. No debo llegar tarde al funeral del pescador de dunas. Y con eso se fue. 3 días después, los mismos pasos regresaron a su cueva. ¿Volviste? ¿Cómo has estado? ¿Lograste llegar al funeral? Preguntó. No tengo idea de lo que estás hablando, respondió de manera cortante. No soy el hombre que crees que soy. Su rostro estaba agotado y demacrado, sus ojos hundidos profundamente en huecos vacíos. Era como si toda chispa de vida le hubiera sido arrancada, dejándolo solo con una cáscara vacía. La investigadora insistió que no se había equivocado. Conozco a las personas por su naturaleza más profunda, hasta la sincronización de sus espectros. Nunca me he equivocado antes. Lo que tú digas, el hombre murmuró de manera áspera. No entiendo nada de tus ideas tan elevadas. Solo déjame ir. Ha sido un largo día de pesca y lo único que quiero ahora es desplomarme en mi cama tambaleante. Se alejó con pasos que sonaban exactamente como los del empleado del banco.
As you might have noticed, Miss Burton, this facility isn't just a prison. It's also a research center.
What research?
Its full name is the Panopticon of Comala. It was established by the Foucault Association in 1975. We've hosted workshops, academic sessions, and even lectures about the Panopticon. You may even have seen some reports about it. Experts of psychoanalysis and scholars from various fields have come here to exchange ideas and seek collaboration in their studies. In many ways, the Panopticon is unlike any other prison you've seen before.
I see. No wonder Miss Recoleta has gone to such lengths to become a part of it. Actually, my assistant and I are here to inquire about a prisoner named Doris. Does that name sound familiar?
Not that I recall. Could she have used a different name? What does she look like?
She'd have arrived here about 3
Looks
days
like
ago.
a lost child.
It's also possible that she came as a visitor, not a prisoner.
She's so innocent.
She's a blind woman who always carries an old typewriter. She used to be a doctor at the Sao Paulo Veterans Residence in Brazil. And on the subject of different names, she once wrote for Atu, under the name Erd.
Oh, that's how you spell Atu? I always spell it Utu.
I don't think I've seen anyone fitting that description. And as I said, we haven't had any visitors in some time. Certainly not in the last 3 days.
But I did see her. I saw her walking towards Comala prison.
Someone must have mixed up their memories. Simply put, I don't recall seeing anyone by that name or with that description here.
For sure, let's consider the doors not go to the prison, just follow the same path.
I see. Thank you, miss.
But Recoleta
Perhaps we
saw
made a
her
mistake.
get inside the prison, I think. So I think that her current line of questioning is going nowhere. She shifts toward a different topic.
Miss Recoleta, you've gone to great lengths to get into the Panopticon. Would you mind telling us why?
Finally! I've been waiting for you to ask. I'm here to find my pen pal in Comala.
You have a pen pal? In here?
Yes. 6 months ago, I went to a book exhibition in Guadalajara and came across the contact details of a few writers. I sent them my novel and asked for feedback. Looking back, it was a bit forward, but nothing unheard of between writers. A lot of friendships start through letters, you see. And Aleph wrote back.
Oh, Aleph is the pen pal. Recoleta produced a thick stack of letters from her coat. How? The recipient address changes with each letter, reflecting the turbulent lifestyle of the wandering writer. Yet the sender address is eternally constant, Komala.
And how much do you know about this pen pal of yours?
Is the red-haired guy?
Oh,
the one that you are so
he calls
excited
himself Aleph,
for.
which is a grammatically masculine word, so...
I thought he's just
so
some
you assume Aleph is a man?
crazy, you know, somewhat criminal inside the prisoner. A reasonable suspicion, but in her experience, never a certainty.
Yes, he's probably a poet, a writer, perhaps even an alchemist. He's one of the brightest people I know. There's never been a question that he couldn't answer. I've asked him about religion, politics, history, potions, even critters in length and breadth. Can you imagine someone who knows all those things and so extensively too?
I mean, if you're in the prison and you have nothing to do, you're probably gonna just read the books.
And he helped me with my novel. He always seems to know the best ways to bring my characters to life. Honestly, he's so insightful.
Criminal.
I've begun wondering if he's omniscient. With his help, my story grew richer and fuller, like a well-tended plant. Strangely, can't seem to take it any further now. It's as if the roots have been sapped of their strength. I couldn't understand why, so I resolved that I would see him in person to find out.
Again with this story about your uncanny pen pal? I've already told you a dozen times. It's all very moving, but it still doesn't justify your actions.
Actually, yeah, she makes sense.
Writers experience mental blocks all the time. Yet you don't see them trying to break into a prison over it.
That's actually pretty extreme, indeed.
She does have a point.
Yes.
Please, Burden, jailer, have a little mercy, will you?
At this point, the other two friends, Pancho and the other girl, is actually makes sense also.
I've been meaning to ask, why are you only calling her jailer? Don't you know her name? Or do you just prefer addressing people by their occupation?
Oh, about that.
Unexpectedly, it is the Jaguar herself that speaks up.
It's okay, Miss Verton. I don't mind being called by my job title. I take pride in what I do.
I mean, she's on duty, so it makes sense. But when you're like go drinking or something,
I'm perfectly fine with just being the jailer.
We want to know your name.
Exactly. A researcher is a researcher, and a jailer is a jailer. Titles and code names often tell us more about people than their ordinary given names, don't you think?
Oh.
Take Soneto, for example. Your name comes from sonnets, doesn't it? That great poetic form from Italy. Some people mistakenly think Shakespeare invented it. Some say it was Petrarca, though no one really knows when the first sonnet was written.
Is it true, Soneto?
Sorry, I'm straying from my point. You're Italian, aren't you, Soneto? Is that your real name, or just a code name? Were your parents poets?
As much as I'd like to be able to answer your question, I never knew my parents.
Oh god.
My earliest
Killer
memories
then
were
my
of the School
friendly
of
shape. I
Primary
want to
Defense
rub
of
that
Mankind. I've lived there since I was a small child.
No, that's the genius though, because people can restrain themselves for trying to pat the jailer.
My apologies. That was thoughtless of me.
It's fine. You meant no ill intent, I'm sure. Timekeeper, if Miss Recoleta was right about Dr. Doris's whereabouts, perhaps the jailer is keeping things from us. Or perhaps Dr. Doris visited the Panopticon without her knowledge. Either way, we need to do some digging here.
I agree. Let's see if we can talk to some of the inmates and find out what they know.
As they chat the corridor until now and thus reach a terminal point, with voice echoing ahead.
Ladies, we're about to enter the main hall of the Panopticon.
Are we not gonna ask why there is a ball in there? Whose ball is there?
This is one of the places where the
Is it your
humans
toy?
spend their recreation
Kitty?
time. At this hour, they are supposed to be in their cells. But what's all that noise?
The jailer seems to be tense with the apparently unusual amount of noise. Before the jailer to play.
Miss Burton, could you keep an eye on
Actually really
Recoleta if anything
It's really cute actually. Recoleta tried her best to avoid the hard stare of the villain jailer by blending into the Foundation team.
Certainly.
What do you take me for? I'm not going to run away. That'd be a pretty cheesy way to start a story.
Again, it's so pretty play ball. So cute. And he's in like in the like some sort of pool also.
Please, just stay close to me.
I so really want to see how she going to use the sword. Look at this yellow, it's so small, so cute. What is this? Oh, we are fighting? Oh, what's this? Oh, looks like we've got a new rival. It's pitch black in here. Can't be sure she's new just yet. Hey there, welcome to La Sociedad de Puesta de las Americas. Did I just say it correctly? Or maybe she's one of those who broke out and came back of her own accord. Keeping quiet, huh? I get it. This must be a sacred moment for you. A return to the darkness.
La Sociedad de Poetas.
Oh, she is here.
De las Americas?
The texture she felt on her way here do not match the words she just heard. Guided by her keen hearing, she pauses mid-step in what seems to be a reasonable open space. So is she like Daredevil or something? The room falls into silence, like the longest minute in human history. Are you still there? A faint cough, a heave of a sigh in the darkness. Pardon me, but have we met before? This is my first time in this prison, as far as I can recall. Oh, we got a model. What a strange thing to say. Prison? When was the last time we heard someone say that? Back when the narrator was published? Wait, you aren't some ancient ghost here in pursuit of realism, are you? There's a theatrical flair in her voice. Whoa. Rusty gauge, pitch black cells, prison. Barred for exchanging letters, a peaceful and secluded place. Sociedad de Puestas. And no, we don't know you. The three of them are spaced just far enough apart to barely make out each other's faces in the dark. Whoa. Is it what she see? What a wonderful example, Garcia. Exactly. It all depends on how you choose to see the world, my new friend. Roberta, we don't have much time. This might be the most important gathering of the month. No, maybe even of the year. I can tell Garcia a pretty cool design already. You're right, Garcia. At this moment, nothing is more important than the salon the idealist has so carefully prepared. You should focus on sorting out those manuscripts first.
Pardon the interruption, but might I ask
why your organization is called La Sociedad de Puestas de las Americas? I assume it isn't simply due to geography. Don't worry, Signora. We make it a point to introduce our Sociedad to every new friend, but now isn't quite the time. After the salon ends, we will ask the jailer about your accommodation. Wait a minute. Roberta, your eyes are well adjusted to the dark. Use them. She's neither a newcomer nor a returnee. She's a blind woman. Ah, please forgive Guardia rudeness, Signora. A sensory limitation can sometimes bring sharper intuition. In that colorful world of the mind, I'm sure what you see is even more beautiful than reality. But if you weren't brought in by the physician, then why are you here? She tries to construct a fiction in her mind, something that could justify the surreal nature of the arrival. It's knowing where the voice line comes. I think that's like the anecdote, you know. The anecdote is never a voice. It just got like, it's not really cut. It's just like they've only voiced the beginning, or maybe some reaction like what, and then that's it. From the humid trade winds of Sao Paulo to the crashing surf on the cliffs, now this strange land greets me for the first time with nothing but cold silence. Miss Earth is to be placed in Ushuaia, Komala prison. She is not to be treated as an ordinary inmate. So Igor actually gave it to Manus. In the words of the preacher, you are our honored guest, Miss Earth.
I've come to learn the name of this land.
Ushuaia. Yeah. From that young lady's retelling, it lies at the southernmost tip of the vast continent of South America.
As we walked, I could feel her gaze upon me. Steady, yet never intrusive.
Why didn't you just finish the whole thing? I could tell she meant me no harm. I've informed the administrator of Komala prison of your identity and special circumstances. He will ensure your safety. Good luck and farewell.
I sensed I had been brought to a place most unusual. A building with quiet peculiarity in the air.
Two attendants followed close behind me, some form of liquid dripping from their faces.
I suppose I must claim a little freedom for myself in this place.
I thought the darkness was a blessing. It wasn't too difficult to shake them off.
I'm sorry for your undue trouble, my diligent friends.
It feels really weird to voice it like only half of it. The Grace, well, she's with Manus, so we can assume she's bad at the moment.
I'm here for a short visit, hoping to find some inspiration for my next story.
See, Garcia, this lady is a writer, a good soul. You almost made us miss out on meeting a kinder spirit. Come, I'm sure you'll fall in love with our salon. This has nothing to do with me. It's dark in here, but I suppose you've already grown used to walking in the dark. Sorry, I mean no offense. Well, at least now we know that Earth is inside. To the pen pal I never met. Oh, there's two. I didn't know that.
I didn't expect any of this from what we saw outside.
The moonlit yet pristine walls, the still waters, the silent white tower standing within the labyrinth. Nearby, several prisoners form a circle, some standing, some sitting, engaged in conversation.
Oh, excuse me for a moment. I have duties that I must attend.
Okay. With a sigh, the jailer steps into the gathering, causing a strangely subdued reaction from the prisoner.
They don't seem intimidated by her at all.
He's a cat!
Yeah.
Do I remember of my
They
school
just
wall?
look like a
Close
bunch
to the
of
creative
artists
city.
having a chat in the
Like
garden.
graffiti in the wall.
And the jailer seems to be like a grumpy neighbor coming over to ask them to keep it down.
More like grumpy cat. The grumpy neighbor continued her chastising.
Everyone, you know the rules. There are to be no after-hours gatherings here without the physician's approval.
You sound softer and softer each time you come to warn us. Why not just join us? Isn't it better than circling around the Panopticon all day?
Will be intimidated by a fluffy being.
And look around you. We're in the Hall of New Encounters. What better place to host a salon?
You're missing out in Comala if you don't even get a taste of our literature.
Exactly. Even those oil-dripping musicians drop by from time to time. Not that they're the kind to care about the beauty of words.
Oil-dripping musician?
Oil-dripping musicians? Timekeeper, could they mean...
Is it manners? Before the jailer can say anything else, two of the prisoners simultaneously gesture for her to stay silent, pointing to the center of their gathering.
Quiet now, please. The Aediles Salon is about to start.
These people seem friendly enough. Why don't we see what this is about?
But that's where someone heard this little kitty, I will send them to hell. Jail is not enough.
En desiertos, en estrellas, dentro de laberintos.
En aguas, en espejos, dentro de reflejos.
Soñamos sobre la almohada de paja de la muerte.
Aquí estamos, rendiendo homenaje a los fantasmas.
Para rendirlo todo otra vez. Para rendirlo todo otra vez.
My dear friends, we face a difficult truth. The movement of visceral realism still stumbles in the dark. Our poems, our language, our minds are tangled by a stifling vine. A mundane, stale vision shared among all bourgeoisie.
Is this Aleph?
We follow this vision blindly, clinging to the comfort brought by logic and conventional wisdom. And by it, we nip every branch of new art in the bud. Poems are perhaps too fragile an outgrowth to develop one's life upon.
Because in
here,
Aleph
we may light them
Ultimate, there
like
is one that he
candles
looks
at
like
our
this.
funerals. Let poetry become the bridge between us and the world.
Well, Aleph is wearing a mask and probably the red hair is a wig. A lone clap breaks the silence. It comes earlier than all the other cheer from the audience.
As we come back and forth over the boundaries of life and death, the old obstacles begin to take on a new look. With the eyes of poets, we may see behind them.
See, it even connects with Recoleta.
You're a visceral realist. I can't be mistaken. You must be.
The Aediles' eyes pierce through the grove of literary enthusiasts, reaching a distant, drifting new world.
A lonely cowboy, finally home.
Oh, really? I'm actually eating something. A lonely cowboy finally home. Oh, why did I read that?
What a wonder. You're in time. The salon has just begun. And La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas isn't like those salons that care more about who's invited than the art. All are welcome here.
A literary salon in a prison? Though, so far it seems to have more dancing than poems.
Did you understand what that man just said?
No.
No, sorry, Timekeeper. I need a moment to think it through.
The paperclip to his bandage is so painful to watch.
Don't worry, Sonato. I would guess we're not the only ones who are confused here.
I always confused, by the way.
Miss Jailer, is this that peculiarity about Kamala you mentioned earlier?
Enough, Idealist. You're still an inmate here, and you are walking a very fine line right now.
Oh, I'm quite aware of where I am and what lines I tread. This is a prison, the safest place for poets in this part of the continent. One cannot be arrested twice, after all.
I thought you're going to be more excited, Julian, after CLF. The men words draw laughter from the other prisoners as they turn to discuss the speech with excitement.
But please, don't trouble yourself with our little farce. What harm could a few poets possibly do?
All the irregular rhymes and wild contradiction of aesthetic converge into a chaotic countercurrent, crashing against the newcomers. I mean, I'm just interested, not overly excited. Recoleta clenches her face in shock, certain that the man before her is her mysterious pen pal.
Senor Idealist, might I ask you something?
Well, there's still a chance that he probably is not Aleph.
Hold on, Recoleta. All forms of communication with the inmates must conform to our regulations. We will need to record the conversation and submit it to higher authorities for review.
Although I'm leaning that I'm pretty sure it was Aleph.
I have some questions for the gentleman as well, but we're more than willing to follow the rules. I think the person I'm looking for might have attended this literary salon, or at least talked to some of its members. I'd wager she's spoken to that gentleman. That is,
Is jail
if she has
X
been
or
here
6
at all.
come up again? I may be screaming. And all of that is just literally like one letter or number name. I thought you put some code in there.
I see. Go ahead then. Just
What about
watch the time.
Jetian? The harpy dude. As the visitor petitioned the jailer. Ah, damn it, I missed
Are
it.
you Aleph?
The noisy atmosphere plunged into silence, just like the still waters nearby. The adult is evidently taken aback by the name.
Oh, another visitor looking for Olive.
So you know him?
Naturally, but I'm not obliged to speak of him to one who does not, stranger.
The salon host is non-committal, turning toward Recoleta's companions.
And you, young lady in the hat, are you here for Olive as well? What a lively day this is.
No, I'm looking for a blind woman. Her name is Doris.
Ah, yes, I remember. Her writing was impeccable, like an exquisite crocodile skin handbag in a shop window. Elegant, yet condescending.
Do you know where she is now?
I'm not able to keep track of every inmate here, miss. Perhaps you should ask those who have seen everything from above.
I don't know why when he pointed something out, it feels kind of
Through the glass,
scary.
where the scrutinizing eyes of power look down on us.
Eyes?
I must be a popular man that most boy hate looking at the idol's reaction. She scanned the prison hall. The walls, the great tower, and the pool remain unchanged. Nothing appear amiss. All the prisoners present not in agreement, prompting a wary sigh from the jailer.
Have you taken your medicine today, Idealist?
I'm feeling marvelous. Today I require no help from them.
I've warned you. It's unwise to act against the physician's orders.
Act against him? No one may act against him here. The physician must have misunderstood us. I suspect he doesn't understand half of what we say. I'd like to know how he got his medical degree. Not by cracking open skulls, I should hope.
Oh, he could be referring to Aleph. The prisoner exchanged knowing smiles.
What a pity, jailer. You know, I've always believed you had the soul of a poet, just like us.
Or maybe it got dual personality.
We've already spoken enough rebellious thoughts outside of Komala. How else do you think we ended up in your nut house? We've been here far too long. Long after the junta was removed from office. After our home became a deserted wasteland in the aftermath of the Latin American boom.
What are you getting at?
That power is boring, meaningless. Nothing holds on to power forever. And the one true connection we have to life is poetry.
See, jailer, even an outsider understands our ideas better than you. It's time to open your eyes to reality. La Sociedad is the only way for us to feel truly alive in here, beneath the gaze of those prying, ever-vigilant eyes.
Idealist, last warning. Stop this now.
Oh no! Oh no.
Fine, fine. All right, compañeros.
No wonder he
Sadly,
got
the
nuts.
salon must come to an end, as our jailer insists.
The crowd murmurs and grumbles as they begin to disperse.
Dear friends, I do not mean to abuse the power of suspense. I sincerely invite you to come with me to the heart of La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas. Perhaps you'll find the person you look for there.
Can we trust him? The men strike a gesture somehow equally comedic and solemn.
We'd love to. Only if that's okay with you, Miss Jailer.
I suppose that's all right. You're already here. We can call it part of your tour, but please, ladies, take none of their rambling seriously.
Thank you, jailer. Please, follow me.
Why does a fight?
Embrace rather than resist.
Seriously? Again that? That's just auto this.
Wait. This isn't the way to the gallery.
What's going on?
It isn't the usual way. It's a shortcut. We call it the reptilian complex and primal hunger route. Much faster than the limbic system and postmodern anxiety route, let me tell you.
But this passageway has long been abandoned, and entry is prohibited. It's extremely dangerous to...
Relax, jailer. No one, not even you, knows this prison better than I.
But, Timekeeper, I think we've just gone in a circle.
Please, más allá del
What
concepto
is he
mundano
plan?
del
The
tiempo,
idealist
en la acumulación de
to revive
laberintos,
a fake side.
suéltalo todo una vez más.
We did fight the jailer at the beginning.
This'll help.
Be careful.
Huh, a truly villainous moment. En la acumulación de laberintos, suéltalo todo una vez más. Do I have to do this?
More?
Más allá del concepto mundano del tiempo.
There is 3 ways.
Awake. Nuestro aliado es la verdad.
My responsibility.
The people who watch us probably think we are crazy. Why the guest is attacking that fake sign? that sign is not even a threat. Why are we even attacking it?
I am
Are we
the
hallucinating?
from the stars in the sky.
Be careful.
This is the act of destroying government property.
Please lend me your power. Cosmología, filosofía clásico, I have to do this. Won't get away. Más allá del concepto mundano, I know this beat. En la acumulación de laberintos, suéltalo todo una vez más.
Although we come from different lands, we share the same dream. There is still much to be hopeful.
Together we are fierce. You like a chopstick?
Let's take a step back. Pull you out of that whirlwind of passion and dreams. If you want to make the best call, you need to zero in on what really matters. So what's your take on that big speech?
The Latin American boom.
A sudden explosion that shook Latin American literary circles about 30 years ago. It was destructive, but also gave rise to new life. Lucky for us, we don't have to worry about shell shock in the literary world.
You don't strike me as someone who knows about literature.
It's not about knowing literature. Any soldier with little experience can deliver a status report. All right, eyes on the map. As we speak, ships are lined up on the Spanish coast. But this time, they're poised to make a new kind of discovery. If you can call it that. And here are our new Columbuses, heading to the docks to embark on their journey.
Who are these new Columbuses?
Carmen and Carlos, the driving force behind this literary feast between Spain and Latin America. Carmen, with an eye for opportunity and a mind for business, sought out the continent's literary gems and secured generous publishing deals for them.
Is it Carmen San Diego?
Carlos, with his deep understanding of market dynamics, brought these works to the eyes of the European public.
What happened then?
Then, a golden era began. It all kicked off with a scandal at a military academy. And soon, the entire world was captivated by the story of a baby with a pig's tail from a faraway land. But we mustn't forget the writers themselves. Fuentes, a towering figure of the Spanish-speaking world, and Cortázar, the writer ever seeing through the eyes of a child. And of course, Mario and Gabo, key players in this literary revolution, will forever be etched in the annals of history.
Is it an actual history or they made up?
They corresponded regularly, always expressing deep admiration for each other's work. In fact, one even wrote a doctoral thesis on the other. Ah, friendship.
That must have been a proud time for them.
It was. But no matter how explosive the boom was, it couldn't escape its fleeting nature. With the second imprisonment and self-criticism of a Cuban poet, in came an inexplicable right hook, and bang! Silence. The military junta had gripped the poets' throats. The verse of the pioneers was cut off, their voices no longer heard. The bond between two generations was broken, and for the younger of the two, the silence was intolerable. They looked for a new theme, a new idea, a new voice, a new method to speak on their disappointment, their horror, and their anger. And they became the new guerrillas.
It's another battle. Oh no, it's the Dora's story. Oh, it's not? I read in an article once that you Chileans don't like Baroque literature. Something about it being too noisy. You sure are a quiet bunch. A quiet bunch? Is that so? And you Argentinians just love it, right? If you're any metric to go by, I would say you're all loud and obnoxious. You. Just because the idealist isn't here, you think you can turn this salon into a debate hall? You started it. Enough. Stop squabbling and post your work so we can read it. If you ask me, you are simply more interested in rhythm than form. Spanish is a rich language, one that is inherently expressive, ever-changing and artistic, much like Baroque literature. The typical quiet man words douse the argument like a cold splash of water, sending the group into a rare moment of calm. All jokes aside, I do miss them. Ever since those mad members left La Sociedad, we've had far fewer breakthroughs in stream of consciousness writing. I, for one, would gladly discuss the aesthetic value of stream of consciousness composition. For crazy people, they literally read some heavy stuff. As this new topic first surfaced, the inmates' voices began to rise once again. It was the most unusual literary salon, full of emotionally charged statement and biased opinion. Wait, Doris is in there now? No, 13, come back! But I didn't mind it. In fact, my feeling was quite the opposite. The inmates give me an incredible feeling. Not one of them saw themselves as a prisoner stripped of their freedom. A group of literature enthusiasts coming together in an abandoned prison and collaborating to build an ideal nation. It felt as though it was the result of some kind of pact, but in reality, it was clearly a government-run prison. Whoa, who is this? Everyone quiet down, I have something to announce. An unfamiliar voice cuts off the clacking typewriter in Dora's mind. A woman walks out from the far end of the darkness and steps into the center of the salon, stopping before the whiteboard and podium.
Mr. Idealist entrusted me with hosting the literature salon.
He left a letter under a stone in the corner stating that he had a personal matter to attend to. For this session, I will now announce our next research topic.
Fiction's duality in reflecting reality and the self.
I don't even know what is that. If this is like an actual university course, I'm probably already failed. Heavy gulps, turned heads, and an uproar spread through the audience. Clearly, this wasn't the topic they were expecting. She raises the letter in her hand in a gesture of forced silence.
Like-minded fellows, aspiring writers.
Since the turn of the century, the names that once shook the literary world have gradually faded into obscurity.
Literature's been shoved aside in the world of art.
People attend theaters, cinemas, and even art galleries to enjoy paintings and sculptures, but few can finish a book. Oh, this is an actual our generation right now.
What is left for us to do?
When families are torn apart and our nation are ravaged by tyranny.
Let stories be our weapon.
They should be
the sword that
God
cuts
damn it,
through
I
the
thought it's
bloody
already
truth,
done.
The beacon that lights our way forward.
The audience falls into silence. We could try writing a Latin America War and Peace, and we could continue with our original salon topic. The two aren't mutually exclusive. I've spent a whole month preparing for the topic the idealist previously proposed. If you insist on changing the subject, then I'm afraid I will have to take my leave. It's Octavia. Forgive me for interrupting, but this isn't the topic we agree on. Everything you've said, we just can't do that. We haven't even figured out things for ourselves yet. Octavia, it's an interesting topic, it is, but perhaps we can talk about it another time. Besides, don't forget the reason you are in here in the first place, for preaching that the novel is a weapon. Yeah, if it weren't for your rich daddy, you will be on the gallows, not standing here preaching on to us.
Hey!
Another prisoner stands, his voice clear. You've completely missed Miss Octavia's point. A great writer should be like an obsessive gravedigger, digging up the rotting flesh of social realism from the grave of our times. Only this vast crucible is worthy to be the host of our literature. At the time, Mr. Garcia looked visibly resistant as Mr. Julio issued stern reminder and Miss Roberta attempted to mediate. More and more members joined the debate, and voices both for and against Miss Octavia's proposal emerged. It didn't take long for La Sociedad to split into two camps. That was when I realized I needed to do something to get this derailed literary salon back on the track.
I'm a writer, and I mostly write under the name Erd.
Erd?
That name sounds familiar.
Have you written for Atu? Are you the Erd in Atu?
Wow, I never imagined we will be welcoming such an honored guest today. I truly enjoy your piece titled The Tin Soldier of Sao Paulo.
It's an important part of my visit to hear all the ideas and opinions, if you'll pardon my intrusion.
Then tell me, Miss Earth, what are your thoughts on today's salon topic? A difficult question, one involving preference, a creative stance, and a political alignment. A scale that is never easily balanced. However, the answer has never been the most important part of such questions.
In these restless times, literature has been overlooked, forgotten, pushed to the edges of the world.
Now is the era of tap.
Much like Ushuaia.
Some fall into deep thought, others not in agreement, and a few look puzzled. The audience is largely unaware that the topic has already shifted. To most, this prison at the end of the world is a distant, cold place, perhaps even a place of hopelessness. When a prisoner is first sent here, I cannot help but imagine that the first thing they feel is a stagnant pool of water and a calm, quiet despair. She uses this chance to guide the literary salon back from the muddy trenches of ideology. She recalls the days of the typing while looking out over the river, boats, and palm trees. Words are honest, they have no capacity to lie. I came here to gather material for my next book. I plan to record everything I experience in this place, faithfully. And what kind of work are you planning to write? A non-fiction piece, I presume? About Komala prison? Its theme is fate. Damn. Oh crap, I'm running out of stamina. Oh thank god I have. Lucky I have candy.
La investigadora se despierta en su cueva en la duna, que le parecía tan vacía como una tumba. Era poco antes del amanecer. Montones de cintas habían ocupado su espacio vital, apilándose una y otra vez. Cada uno de estos carretes giratorios hablaba de historias sobre esa cabaña con techo azul. Oyó la voz del asesinado conductor de burros detrás de ella. Oigo a todos ellos, las risas y las voces de generaciones pasadas, como hojas secas atrapadas en las grietas de viejas paredes, crujiendo solo cuando el viento sopla a través. No pondría un pie en esa casa si fuera tú. El mendigo al lado de la puerta también habló. Duermo en el porche cada noche. Cada mañana una luz tenue brilla a través de la ventana, pero nadie sale nunca por esa puerta, y nadie ha entrado nunca. Luego la voz del empleado del banco. Es la historia del alter ego. Esa casa debe haber estado llena de deudas que nadie reclamaría. La anciana enferma, luchando en su cama, susurró. La casa recuerda esos días, cuando la gente desaparecía en la oscuridad de la noche.
y los niños eran robados por las tormentas. La investigadora de paracausalidad había oído suficiente y volvió a dormirse. Solo quedaba el traqueteo del dado de Babilonia, resonando en su cueva vacía.
In a deteriorating activity hall, thousands of floating slips of paper form a blurred, colossal face. It is hard to imagine how the prisoner managed to transform this place into what it is now.
I've always wanted to use the element of fantasy to better establish our theme. And I was right. Now the stage is captivating, the timing is perfect, and the audience is ideally placed. Only one imperfect element remains in the scene. The creator, who hasn't stepped away from his creation. No. There's another thing.
Garcia, the curator of the exhibition, stands beneath his work, deep in thought, agonizing over every minute imperfection. His fellow poets whisper to one another.
Can you even tell any difference between today's setup and yesterday's?
We're not even here yesterday.
Seriously, Roberta?
Wait.
That's a rude question.
Isn't that Digger? Isn't that Digger?
Well, what's the difference then?
Well, I can't see why.
Or maybe I'm wrong.
But you should never judge art by how much it changes in a day. It's a creative process. We might be standing at the edge of the world, but art has no boundaries. We have to show him our support.
Easy for you to say. He's been tinkering and tweaking for over 3 months. Even if the idealist himself entrusted him with this exhibition, he can still be wrong sometimes. This gallery is turning into a dump.
Estoy viendo fantasmas, todos con las mismas caras, Garcia. Demasiados. Es fácil perderse en ellos.
Having navigated through the labyrinth, the idealist, the leader of La Sociedad, arrived at the exhibit entrance, accompanied by several new faces and the jailer.
Idealist, you're back. Are these new recruits for La Sociedad? You must have had a very successful day.
It is good to see you, Garcia. How has your vision progressed today?
First a salon, and now an art gallery. Is this really a prison?
Her shock is evident on her face, but her words are ignored as Garcia begins to vent his frustrations.
As you can see, I've strived to push the element of fantasy in my work so that it might reach perfection. But why doesn't it look like what I imagine? It's like I'm trying to work on a shadow. Some shapeless thing that morphs and shifts by the hour. Idealist, am I losing it again? I took my medicine as instructed.
It was never the pills that blinded you, my dear Garcia. You mustn't let tedious routine stifle what's truly alive. Remember, like those old poems, your exhibition must have a timeless rhythm that's never lost to the changing of minds.
Garcia holds his hand as if grasping something fleeting but fails to hold onto it.
Sorry, maybe I'm just not getting it.
Look out. There's your answer. Though the sun rises the same way every day, the multitudes of shadows it casts are ever-changing. Isn't that the only constant in life? Change. We foolishly pursue stability and constancy, but our very world denies it. Take a step back. Take several, and see the truth for yourself, lest you too become lost among the shifting shadows.
I get it now. It's the changing light that makes the exhibit seem different from what I expected. I shouldn't waste my time on freezing things in one perfect moment. Instead, I need to embrace change as it comes. I don't know how to thank you. I won't let you down. I must complete this exhibition. Complete my alter ego.
The choice of word widens the writer's eyes.
Did you say alter ego? And he called you Garcia. Is that your name? Garcia, where did you learn about this alter ego? Do you happen to write under the name...
But the curator has already returned to his work, uninterested or oblivious to his visitor.
Please, Recoleta, give our artist some space. Can't you see? He's already returned to his own time and space. He can't hear a thing you say.
Damn. When I hear this speaking, I can't grasp what they're saying because I feel like it's too heavy. But at the same time, it reminded me that they're all crazy.
He's right. Garcia is deep in his own head now. He won't hear a thing until he's done with whatever he has to do. Even if the floor were to collapse out under us, I think he will be left standing in the air without even noticing.
Pardon me then.
She takes a step back out of respect.
All right, my dear guests. Please forgive my late introduction. Welcome to the Gallery of Bewilderment.
Thank you for inviting me here, Mr. Idealist.
The Foundation investigators have been carefully observing each prisoner movement since they arrived, but unfortunately there is no sign of Miss Doris.
I imagine you're curious about what we do here in the heart
Me too.
of La Sociedad
I thought it's only
Poetas
me.
de las Americas.
It's so heavy with this politics, with
We're putting
history.
together a magazine, a collection of poems from Kamala, our very own Casa de las Americas.
¿Casa de las Américas?
The idealist nods with a smile.
Exactly. Named after its great predecessor. You're a fine mind indeed. At this very moment, all our compañeros are working on it.
I think all I care is just like we are looking for Doris. That is what important. We understand the objective.
Garcia's exhibition, Alter Ego, is centered around the birth of this magazine. And here, you can see the signatures from all the poets involved, along with a few words they've written for it. Reading it is like looking into the soul of our society.
All these signatures.
Sorrento stepped forward to examine the perplexing artwork. In the dim lighting, the owner's face appears to be looming watchfully over the entire room. A floating slip of paper catches her attention. Don't touch it, Sorrento.
Timekeeper, here! It's Dr. Doris' pseudonym, Erd.
Then she was here.
Sorrento pockets the slip of paper dutifully. Huh?
Precisely. She used to be one of us, and still is, if I may correct myself. You can ask around here. Maybe some of our members know where she went. Don't we all miss the familiar faces of old friends? I'm sure they'll do everything they can to help you find yours.
I mean, she's just been here like 3 days. As he finished speaking, several enthusiastic prisoners come forward to greet the idealist.
Mr. Idealist, I finished my short story. It's called Weightlessness. It drifts around the subject like a sheep floating in space. The readers can start anywhere in the story, or read it in any order they like.
And please take a look at my piece Off Limits! Every word that has been forbidden is either erased or replaced with symbols. It's a one-of-a-kind jarring experience.
And I finished a new paragraph. Just wrote it today.
A prisoner wrapped in several meters of manuscript paper, like a strange sort of mummy, squeezes into the crowd.
Oh, new faces. Welcome.
Without any warning, he calmly tears the manuscript to shreds. Huh? What? Why? The fluttering fragments fall like trailing spark from a fireworks show. The abrupt welcome ceremony leaves the newcomers stunned, while the natives share knowing smile.
Idealist, did he just...
This is the writer for the prologue of our magazine.
The leader of La Sociedad, either misunderstanding or evading the question, respond with enthusiasm.
The prologue consists of a 2,000-line poem and an introduction that is written in 86 languages to avoid misinterpretation. It represents every second we spend here. Naturally, the arrival of new members disrupts its structure, and so we must begin again from scratch.
So he just tore it all up like that because he thought we were joining? With all due respect, isn't this a little excessive? Heaven knows I'm not one to judge. I've torn up plenty of writing for my novel.
Please, pay it no mind. It may not be an easy task, but he's doing his part. Destruction is hard, but more necessary than you think. Without it, we'd all be stuck in a still and stagnant pond, with all the smells that entail.
This all sounds very complicated.
Oh, thank God.
When will your magazine be finished then?
Even Fertin said so.
Forgive me, but I'm not sure what a floating sheet, a jarring reading experience, and all this constant rewriting are meant to express.
The jailer, having remained silent, takes a deep breath and interrupts.
As I've said, Komala isn't like any other prison.
Miss Jailer, do you mean...
This place also serves as a research center. And the prisoners here, for all they claim, are not just poets. They are Arcanist criminals, and each one of them has been diagnosed as mentally ill.
Oh, finally some clarification. The leader of La Sociedad remains composed, like an island in a rough sea, leaving the onlookers to question whether he is entirely mad or the sanest of them all.
You're quite right, Jailer. But let's not forget that mental illness is merely a deviation from the norm. And who decides the norm? You, the physician, or the ones outside these walls?
So is he also mentally ill?
We've been exiled here by the standards of our time, deprived of our roles in the outside world. So please, as we agreed before, I ask you not to interfere with the affairs of La Sociedad.
These people are visitors, not your new recruits.
But should we not hear their thoughts first?
I mean, the guy that ripped the paper gonna be like, what? I shouldn't have ripped my paper. The idealist turned toward the visitor with an urgent plea.
My friends, no one escapes the eye of power. We must resist. Stand with us. Pick up your pen and take poetry as your shield before it is too late.
Idealist, I admire your fight, but I came here with a different goal.
The leader of La Sociedad, caught in his fervor, ignores her words and carries on.
We're the last true owners of an old legend, words now only remembered as myth. We must stay on the path of literature until I find that transcendental solution. To invent an idiom that is generic, all-encompassing, yet precise. My poem will be written in this language, leaving no room for doubt or misinterpretation. How blessed is a man with infallible memory. He holds the finer details of each object within him, more vivid than anyone else. In the end, he'll have all the answers, if time allows him.
A dreamlike expression crosses his face. It briefly seems as if he has become an entirely different person, but his vision is soon interrupted.
Sweet tongue, sister howls, hermaphrodite, tango. They put the whole city in the nut house.
Timekeeper, look over there.
Isn't that the prologue writer?
There's something off about him. Please, Timekeeper, stay away from him.
What's happening?
Idealist, Pablo's having another episode.
Multiples of us. You make reality sick.
A flash of arcane energy flares up, and the jailer steps into the crowd reactively.
I could use your help, ladies.
Oh no, we're gonna see the kitty in action. God damn it, Pablo!
Come together to
That's not
conquer this
him.
great weight.
La acumulación de laberintos.
Oh.
Suéltalo todo una vez más. Más allá del concepto mundano del tiempo.
Bask in the sunlight.
Yeah, just some creep.
Nuestro aliado es la verdad.
What is he doing?
Hey,
Ouch!
you rubbed it away.
Did he just throw a newspaper?
Please lend me your power. A truly villainous moment. Do I have to do this? Journey to the cosmos.
It's really tanky though. God damn it, doesn't finish him off.
Hey, don't interrupt me. En todos los momentos. 强梁既出，王有不为。
Xiangliang. Yeah. Dead by Kitty, but not the jailer.
Although we come from different lands, we share.
He does have heavy damage. He surprisingly knows Kung Fu. The frenzied prisoner is subdued. He lies convulsing in the center of the exhibit hall.
Poor soul. I'll bring him to bed.
What happened to Garcia? Is he still making the art?
Well done, ladies. Aren't you full of surprises?
What was all that?
Don't know, you tell me.
It seems he had a mental breakdown and lost control of his arcane skill. It appears that every line he recited carried unbridled power.
Usually, only specific lines can channel arcane energy. You can't just force the power into words or craft a poem to serve your purpose. Pablo must have a rare gift for identifying empowered lines. When he recited them all aloud, they overwhelmed him.
That's right. He's a genius who writes the tides of emotion, just like Arthur Rimbaud.
Who is Arthur Rimbaud?
We always keep a close eye on him to make sure he doesn't recite anything while reading or writing.
Roberta trades glances between the tense jailer and her visitors.
But sometimes things slip through.
Why they always call
You must understand
these
how
people
difficult it is
quotation
for a
mark
poet
genius?
to never taste the words on his own lips.
So then, this isn't the first time, and you're all fully aware of it.
Wait, you, the jailer, doesn't know?
Do I understand you right? Did you just admit that you've been hiding an inmate with a dangerous condition from us? According to the safety regulations for the Panopticon of Kamala, he must be sent to the physician for immediate treatment.
The jailer command caused a dramatic shift in the room.
No, wait. We can explain. He's doing fine. We know how to help him. This was just an accident. We got distracted by the new members.
Oh, you blaming us now?
We won't be handing him over to the physician. No true writer would allow their mind, the most sacred palace of their thoughts, to be opened up to that cold-hearted, ignorant butcher. Even one who believes their inspiration flows from a source beyond the mere substance of a brain would refuse it.
The physician must be scared that they held him so he don't go to him. So the physician probably alive? I might be wrong then. The jailer furrows her brow and pulls out her weapon. The air tightens into an invisible thread. And here I thought the idealist is Aleph, but apparently not. Or maybe Aleph and the idealist is And the vision is basically the same person. Oh no, it's doors. How did it pull off the sword? I've been asking that question.
Fate. Yes. It looms over us, yet each of us may hold the power to steer its course.
Just like this nation of contradiction, its fate should also be. In that case, shall we officially begin this salon? The ever-observant Roberta, noticing the tears welling in Octavia's eyes, cuts her off. Would anyone like to share a story on this topic? Whether it's a personal experience or a written tale, let's bring some life to this salon. Well, if no one has anything to say, I could always retell the story of my fateful journey across the Mexican border. A church screeches as one man stands, all eyes fall on his face, shadowed by his heavy brow and sharp cheekbones. An unexpected twist. No one noticed him quietly sitting at the edge of the crowd until now. I spent the first half of my life as a bank clerk. One day, sitting behind that glass window, staring at the endless stack of checks, papers and flyers, it hit me. I was serving a life sentence. So I quit, went home and decided to write something. My wife threw a fit at first, but when I wouldn't budge, a cold war broke out between us, and then finally, she issued an unilateral eviction notice. I got drunk, punched a bastard officer who was beating a beggar in the street, and everything after that's a blur. When I come to, I was already here, a place that feels more like home than any other place ever did. But he's not wearing one of those crazy jackets. I thought he is like one of the a guard or something. The idealist gave me some more water and suggested I write to Aleph. So I did. I wrote a letter and asked a question. 2 weeks later I got a reply. Just one line. I'm still trying to figure out what it means. In the short span of life, there exists an infinitely extending staircase, and at its end lies nothing but a silent body of water. Julio, I had no idea you had such a story. Why haven't you mentioned it before?
I didn't know you've written to Aleph too.
She's actually pretty cute, Octavia. Octavia, maybe you did choose the right topic. Young, passionate writers like you should carry the dream of changing society. Don't end up like me, waiting until this age to finally pick up the pen. Oh? The hostess, fully engrossed in the story, has almost forgotten all about the topic. Great, I suppose it's my turn then. So here's my tale of crossing the Mexican border. Somebody please interrupt her. What a thank God. For heaven's sake, spare us! I've read at least 7 or 8 versions of that story already. Not to mention the 5 short stories in your collections. 5 story, Roberta. 5! And the only difference between them is the narrative perspective. Repetitive narrative is indeed an important topic in literary criticism. I think it was like that. The remainder of the salad is spent in noisy chatter as the storytelling quickly spirals out of the control. Only Dr. Doris quietly repeats that name to herself.
Aleph.
Mr. Julio Paz was an unexpected gold nugget, the perfect material for a biography. I will treat it with care in my next submission. By then I had nearly forgotten I was still in prison. I had been swept up in the literary salon. I resolved to record all that I witnessed in this prison. As to whether the inhabitants are truly prisoners, that will be for the readers to decide. At the time, I did not ask how they found their way into this prison. Like them, I was thinking of purer things. Looking back on this journey, I now see that the tangled strand of Las Babas del Diablo had formed an interconnected web. Just as the salon gets into full swing, a face emerges from the shadows, only the smile clearly visible. Rarely do I observe the salon from afar, taking in all its symbolic quirks and subtle metaphors. The bridge between reality and unreality, the poetry of the typical and the atypical. This is exactly how I envisioned La Sociedad de Puestas de las Americas when I founded it. The new rifle catches her attention. Reality and unreality. Are you referring to the difference between non-fiction and fiction? I'm afraid I haven't quite grasped your full meaning. But you understood at least part of it, didn't you? That alone proved we are walking the same path, the unwavering pursuit of aesthetic truth. We are citizens of the literary kingdom, stargazers chasing the first light to reach the shores of the new world, children crying beneath the tree of pure ideals. As its founder, I sincerely invite you to join La Sociedad de Puestas de las Americas and become one of us. It's just such a long name. You don't need to spell all of it. Join La Sociedad de Puestas de las Americas? A gentlemanly bow, an invitation that is hard to refuse. Everything here carries an air of mystery. The literary gathering, the strange architecture, the enigmatic recipient of all those letters. A rare opportunity.
I'm truly flattered by your invitation. I'd be delighted to join the Poetry Society.
Are you crazy, Doris?
But might I trouble you with one question, Mr. Idealist?
You call yourself the founder, so I assume you are the idealist, yes? As away. Could you tell me about Aleph? Oh, Aleph seems like going to be like the mystery figure. It is between whether he's the physician or is the idealist itself. Passion and delirium. Surprisingly, this story pretty long though. Maybe because of too many side story, which is pretty unusual.
This is a serious violation of the rules. I'll have to report this to the physician, and all of your treatments will need to be reassessed. Until a new treatment plan is in place, all members of La Sociedad are confined to their cells without any of their usual privileges.
The jailer heavily emphasized La Sociedad, triggering a commotion among the prisoners.
This is not what we agreed to.
You gave us your word! Affairs within La Sociedad were not to be disturbed!
Please, don't do this. Please, he doesn't deserve this. No one does. We don't want to lose our friend.
The previously convulsing prisoner struggles to his feet.
Please, Senora. I swear it won't happen again. I'll take the medicine on time as instructed. I promise I won't hurt anyone.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pablo, but rules are rules.
Before you take this poor man from his friends, may I ask you something? Do you know where these inmates go after they see the physician?
My duty is to keep order here. What happens beyond these walls is not my concern. Perhaps they've recovered from the physician's treatment and were returned to society.
The jailer's expression relaxes.
Within these walls, the only truth we know is this. No one returns from the clinic of the physician of Kamala. Are you certain this treatment they received is really a cure?
Maybe they...
Pablo is harmless.
Maybe they
He's just a
sell
writer who
their
has a
organ.
talent for finding words and poems. That's all. Please, let him stay. We'll look after him. He can have our share of the medicine. We'll keep him in check.
But this doesn't conform to our regulations.
Still as arrogant as ever, Idealist. One day, you'll get us all killed.
The stranger entered the exhibition hall. As she arrived, the jailer exhales with relief.
Oh, it's you. I'm glad to see you here.
Who is that?
That's Octavia, one of our model inmates. She's been a great help in the past.
She's a model?
If you're interested in prison literature, I'd suggest talking to her instead of the idealist.
So, she's a writer too?
Who would have thought? This place has got writers coming out of the woodwork.
I thought it would be easy to find my writer friend in a prison. But what are the odds that I'd break into a place absolutely lousy with them?
She used to be in their gatherings, until she got tired of their nonsense and started her own faction.
The new raffle brings out a change in the idealist. He clicks his tongue imperceptibly.
What are you doing here, Octavia? Haven't you heard? The era of chieftains, ghosts, and plantation stories is over. Visceral realism is the future.
And has this brilliant visceral realism helped you finish any of these poems? What a waste of time. I'm not interested in your movement or arguing with you. I just walked by and happened to witness another episode of your brutal arrogance. And I'm not about to just stand aside and watch you repeat your mistakes. I'm taking Pablo to the physician. Care to lend a hand, Miss Jailer?
Or lend a paw?
We agreed to mind our own business. Are you breaking our agreement? No one will be allowed to erase a word from our poems.
Oh, we are fighting now. Why are we involved in this?
I have all the essentials for
Oh,
writing poetry.
we are in no.
me,
What they
and your
they are both of them is fighting us.
Haven't you let your ego cause enough trouble, idealist?
Better that than siding with the devil like you.
Enough. This pointless arguing ends now.
Oh crap, I forgot
Seguir el
Naruto.
concepto mundano del tiempo. En la acumulación de laberintos. Suéltalo todo una vez más. This'll help. Be careful. Idealismo. Vuelos de fantasía. Patrones ocultos. Take a deep breath. My responsibility.
They call like all marriage couple.
Please stay back en todos los momentos.
Boom.
Nuestro adversario es el tiempo. Now, to preserve this memory.
Stand down, both of you.
Why does suddenly the song is changed? The heated debate continued without any concern for the jailer's warning.
You've never listened. I pity your followers. To be led by such a reckless megalomaniac. Do you even think about the consequences of your actions? We fought hard to earn the freedom to discuss literature under their watch. Your impulsive ego threatens to destroy everything we've built here.
Spare me the lecture, Octavia. We don't need permission to do as we please. You're just another puppet of power, kneeling to the eyes behind those glass walls. They've trained you to believe it was your own decision, to be good and conform. Who could have done a better job? When I look at you, all I see is a sheep, docile and obedient, just the way the tower wants. What kind of work could someone like you create? Literature isn't defended by those lounging in cozy rooms, scribbling to soothing music.
Have you looked in a mirror, idealist? You've become a pathetic windmill-tilting fool, a monster tearing down everything around you.
A beast of prey, you mean?
Yeah.
Naturally, a sheep would be appalled by the mere thought of such
the music kind of like make this conversation like a joke or something.
A fearful sheep caught in a vine, confusing the blade that would set it free with the jaws of a lion.
Such a master of metaphor. But I beg you, learn to distinguish right from wrong, fantasy from reality. Only then can you truly lead our people toward what's right.
Distinguish right from wrong. Don't make me laugh. Is that the limit of your vision?
I'm really confused with the way the ideal is speaking, really.
You...
Why don't you agree? Oh, here we go. The impassioned leader jumps onto a nearby bench, striking a dramatic pose before the crowd. He raises his arm and launches into a speech.
Compañeros, friends, listen to me. There is no truer home to literature than a prison.
What? A blast of deafening sound and all words fall from the air. The idealist's expression freezes, his eyes search down from a frozen. An ominous shade of crimson seeps out.
No!
Oh, he's in front of her. The horrified Arcanist stumbles back, screaming.
Who did this? Hands behind your head and drop to your knees, all of you, now! This is your last warning!
Oh no! Kitty scary. The prisoners show no reaction to the jailer's final ultimatum. They stare at the idealist unmoving. No one intimidated by the jailer.
Idealist, you're bleeding. It's in your chest.
Like, no one listened to her. I feel bad. Kitty try hard. As his life drags away, the idealist appears unsurprised. He simply turns his gaze toward Recoleta.
You must.
Yes. Idealist?
Unfinished words dissolve into silence as the prison itself begins to tremble. The entire exhibition hall twists and contours, its surrounding warping beyond comprehension, as if dissolving and expanding freely.
What's going on?
Oh. The hell? What happened? The hall is still, time seems frozen in place, until someone utters the first words.
Was he shot? Where did the blade come from? Miss Jailer, and you ladies over there, come give me a hand. We need to get him to the physician.
Her words ignite the first spark.
Did you do this, Octavia? You couldn't face the burning truth of his words, so you pierced his very heart instead, just as it was blazing with the fire of justice. Or was it you, Jailer? Did you intend to crush the voice of poetry beneath your wheel of power?
How can she? How can the jailer can shoot?
It has to be one of you devils in disguise, beasts in human skin.
Well, the jailer is actually a jaguar, so...
Can't you see? I had nothing to do with this. I'm as innocent as any of you. I've been trying to keep order here, to protect everyone. And now you blame me?
Don't listen to her! The idealist made it very clear! She's trying to get us punished for her own gain! You're a murderer, Octavia!
The prisoner fury erupts. In the chaos, Sorrento blocks an arcane skill that pierces the air.
This is mad. You're accusing me without proof. It wasn't me.
This is getting out of hand. I suggest you ladies leave now.
No, wait! It all happened too fast. What happened to the idealist? Is he alright? I didn't even get a chance to ask about Aleph.
As the tide of people surges around them, the line between life and death blurs beyond recognition.
I agree with the jailer. Timekeeper, Miss Recoleta, let's get out of here.
Who shot him and why they shot him? The violent conflict rages on and everything else becomes meaningless. The illusion of time dissolves, its flow unknown. Under the garden influence, the frenzy of prisoner begins to resemble an unreadable, chaotic epic. At this moment, an unidentifiable figure enters their midst, though no one takes notice. The newcomer scrutinized the motionless corpse.
His vitals are gone.
Oh.
At last, some peace and quiet.
So, is he dead?
Well, for a liar and a thief like him, there's hardly a better end than this.
So he's not alive. Okay. I was wrong. Oh no! Is it the Manus? He reaches into Dyla's coat pocket and pulls out a die. It is an artifact marked by patterns fell in smoke, an object seemingly not meant to exist in this world, a 20-sided die known only through an omniscient perspective. And now it is stained in an utterly corrupted blackness.
Just as I thought. You had it all along.
Oh, finally Aleph making an appearance after 7 chapters. Up to this point, I have participated firsthand in several sessions of La Sociedad de Puestas de las Americas. Those literary experiments treated language as an advanced game, weaving reality and fiction into an invisible web, ensnaring everyone present in a maze of words. Never before had I been so intimate with literature or thought about it so deeply. I was amazed by how words could so vividly express both playfulness and value. Until that ordinary afternoon when a poet named Eduardo was reciting his new piece with refined rhythm, and Miss Octavia was discussing the state of Sao Paulo with me. Alright, good night, Julian. Thanks for coming. No one noticed anything unusual about Mr. Julio's condition. Just like you wrote in The Tin Soldier of Sao Paulo, the greatness of Latin America lies in its richness, and from that richness comes misfortune, not by insatiable greed. One man's poverty is another's feast, suffering nourished joy. They are like riverbank, clearly divided. This duality, this paradox, isn't it precisely the kind of question we should be posing through literature? The thought of bone against a hard surface interrupts her. Julio is banging his head against the wall. Not enough, not enough, not like this. You can't grab space and time. I'm still missing some essential language frameworks and thought patterns. With our current language system, I cannot catch the ghost of time. I can only let it slip away from the tip of my pen. Mr. Julio, what's wrong with you? Unlike the panicked Octavia, the other inmates around Julio seems unfazed. That wall is unscalable, Julio. I told you already, I can lend you some of my bandages from last week if you need them. This guy is the one that we fought just now. For a permanently silent object, any form of narration is futile. In the end, you're just wrestling with your own shadow.
What are you all standing around for? Can't you see Julio's hurting himself?
Octavia is clearly flustered. Doris knows she must first eliminate any outside interference that might obstruct her ability to help. Miss Octavia, please calm down. Tell me, what do you see?
It's Mr. Julio. He's hurt. Bleeding.
He tried to break through the mirror of language with his head, but it was actually a wall. By now, Doris has learned how to filter out the surreal embellishment typical of La Sociedad members in order to correctly assess the situation. Mirror or wall, it doesn't matter. Please take a closer look and describe what you see, clearly and without embellishment. What is Mr. Julio's condition? His muscles are spasming uncontrollably, as if jolted by a cold electric current. His face is tightening, twisting, like he's struggling against a silent force. His fingers are curling into unnatural shapes. His expression keeps changing. First pain, then panic, and finally blankness.
Sounds like he's having an epileptic seizure. Perhaps I could offer some help.
Oh right, I completely forgot Doris is a doctor. Guided by the sound of Julia whimpers, Doris approaches. His head is bloodied.
Please, Miss Octavia, help me so I can help him.
Could you lay him down flat on his side? We have to stop him from hurting himself. I can use my arcane skill. Flashing light could worsen an epileptic seizure. Does your arcane skill emit intense light? If so, I must ask you to refrain from using it. Octavia hurriedly retracts her incantation. She presses down on Julio's shoulder and lowers him onto the cold, hard floor. The doctor kneels quickly and gently turns the man onto his side, preventing him from injuring himself any further. As time passed, Mr. Julio's confusion began to subside, but his body remained stiff. His jaw clenched tight. I took a disposable bite pad from the first aid kit and carefully placed it in his mouth to keep him from beating herself. Eventually the situation came under control and Mr. Julio's breathing stabilized. And there everyone went, straight back to the gathering as if it were only a minor inconvenience. Thank you for your help, Miss Earth. The doctor responded with a silent smile.
You seem experienced. Was it a major part of your responsibilities in Sao Paulo?
Yes, saving others is my profession. Writing is my hobby. In my home, I am first and foremost a doctor. Miss Earth, you have my utmost admiration. As a doctor, as a writer, and even more as a person beyond any social categorization. You, a doctor who actually lived in the favelas, pointed the barrel at yourself before wielding your words as a weapon. Compared to you, I have achieved nothing of substance. All I do is wave ideals around, as if that's enough. Miss Octavia, I'm simply a writer who follows her curiosity. I'm afraid I'm not qualified to provide you with any concrete advice, nor am I as great as you say.
You're well prepared for your vision and ambition, for modesty is such an essential part of writing, and you've just demonstrated a skillful use of introspection.
Thank you for your kind words.
But I would like to return to my room, ending for a while. See you tomorrow. The idealist pursues his ideal to erect a magnificent vision atop the Tower of Literature. But for those outside the tower, what good is that magnificence? Here I am, locked away in a prison, my words going no further than these walls. I even only have my life because of my wretched father.
It was foolish to think that ideas alone could ease people's pain.
Maybe we are no different from the heretics who were burned at the stake in the Middle Ages. Perhaps only professionals like Miss Earth, doctors with real expertise, can truly save a person. Wait, but this prison does have a doctor. A doctor meant to handle every kind of issue, whose specialty is precisely in the mental field. But he's not just a doctor, he's the overseer of this prison. I once asked the idealist why the person in charge here wasn't a regular jailer or a police chief, but a physician. As expected, he brushed me off with some grandiose idealistic rhetoric. But why has the idealist always seemed so opposed to the physician?
Why?
Why can't patients like Mr. Julio, who are clearly suffering, be sent to him?
Puzzles on top of puzzles. Questions after questions. My head.
Her sigh echoed through the circular building, and it is soon answered by chorus of other sigh.
I can't do this anymore.
Miss Octavia turned and walked away. Though she looked disheartened, I could still see the power of the unwavering force that drove her forward. What will that force be for me? Looking back, I had to begin to reflect on myself, to contemplate fate, that grand and irreversible force.
Ladies, I must apologize for what happened back there. We were caught off guard. There has never been a commotion of that scale before. I must report this to the physician.
Don't worry, Miss Jailer. We made it out in one piece.
Thank you for your understanding. Ordinarily, I would arrange to escort you to a safer location, but I'm afraid at this hour you'll have missed the last train. And the roads are icy at night.
So we're gonna stay in the jail for the night? Hearing this, Recoleta exchanged a quick but meaningful expression with her companions.
Vernon, we can't leave like this. We appreciate your kind consideration, Miss Jailer. But we still have some unfinished business here.
I see. I'll arrange a clean room in a safer section for you.
We actually gotta stay in the jail.
We'll do our best to ensure your safety tonight.
Nightfall as the girls huddle together, scrutinizing their unfamiliar surrounding.
They actually found us a spare room.
Or more like spare jail, spare
Bleak,
cell.
quiet, and somber. It's a cell like all the others.
Don't worry. This isn't the first time we've ended up on the wrong side of the bars.
At least this time we're just here for the night, not a full sentence.
Soneto lets out a whispered teen protest.
Though, this cell is quite different from the ones we've been in before.
Not just the cell. The whole prison is unlike anything I've seen. And this society they've been running here isn't some mere pastime. They're having real discussions about meaningful topics, even though the rest of the world has been cut off from them.
But we're still in an Arcanist prison. A place where conflicts and violence can erupt at any moment. Let's not forget that. Miss Jailer warned us from the start. These prisoners are mentally unstable and potentially dangerous. Miss Recoleta, with all due respect, we can't afford to see this place through rose-colored glasses. We'd be overlooking the risks, as we did earlier.
And with all due respect, Soneto, we didn't overlook any danger. At least I didn't. A writer must be observant if she is to accurately reflect the world in her writing.
But you...
We came here with different goals. And still, none of them have been accomplished. I suggest we focus on our respective missions, instead of fighting with one another.
Apologies, Timekeeper. Miss Recoleta, I take back everything I said.
Soneto just follow whatever Fertin said.
Don't apologize, Soneto. I'm at fault too. Sometimes I forget that words can be as sharp as swords. You were only thinking about our safety. I shouldn't have been so rude. I actually really admire how you fought back there. If you'd allow me, I'd like to write a poem for you, once my novel's finished.
Is she blushing?
That's terribly kind of you. But honestly, I think we've had enough poetry today to last a lifetime.
Let me know if you change your mind. By the way, did either of you see what happened to the idealist?
Recalling their recent conflict, their indomitable girl finally hesitates.
The jailer told me she went back to the gallery once everything calmed down. She found nothing. No blood, no shell cases, not even a trace of the idealist.
Timekeeper, now's really not the time for ghost stories.
Do you mean that maybe the idealist somehow managed to get out of there on his own? Or perhaps someone else helped him?
Well, according to the idealist, and our jailer, any inmates who are unwell will be taken to the physician. It's possible someone brought him there, while everyone else was shouting and running about.
You're right. It could be that he's with the physician right now. I'm relieved. That was a sudden plot twist, but a visionary of his magnitude doesn't deserve to die in silence like that.
To be fair, the gunshot was quite loud, as was the ensuing commotion.
Nonetheless, he couldn't have just died like that. I mean, the writers would riot if a writer were to kill off a character so abruptly. But you believe he's still alive too, am I right?
She knows her words are merely a cover. She needs an answer, a real undeniable answer.
There's nothing that we can be certain of for now. But on a brighter note, We didn't come back empty-handed from our mission either, Sonetto. We found Dr. Dorez's signature in the gallery. You were right all along, Recoleta. She was here.
But we didn't see her at the gathering. Could something have happened to her, like with the idealist?
Do you think she was also sent to the physician and never made it back?
This is all just speculation. If we want to find the idealist, or Dr. Dorez, we need to speak to this physician first. Miss Recoleta, do you believe that the idealist could be your pen pal, Aleph?
Whether he is or not, he's still my best lead.
Then touches a nerve once again.
Amigas, I've had this strange feeling in my gut since we got here. Something is slowing us down. Now to figure out what it is.
A sullen fear grips her, like ripples suddenly appearing on a once still lake, unsettling in its quiet disturbance.
Look, it's a wild guess, but just wait till I finish. It feels like everything happening in this prison is somehow connected to my novel, El auge y la caída de la cordura.
We're no strangers to wild guesses, and sometimes they're closer to the truth than you'd think. So this...
the rise and fall of sanity.
Sorry. What exactly is your story about?
The question scatters the midnight gloom. Outside, moonlight spills over gray-white snow.
Huh. Nunca pensé que te interesaría.
What?
It starts... Sorry, it's been a while since I told it from the beginning. A few years ago, I worked as a forest ranger. It happened in a desert town called Amalfitano, in Sonora back in 1975.
Wait, 75? No, he's 90. So she's at least 15? Two patient listener watches the stammering girl waiting for the next part of her story.
You know what? Most people say the beginning's a bit hard to get into, except for Aleph. I'm thinking of rewriting it, but if you like the sound of it so far, maybe I could read you the latest part I just finished?
She studied her reader's expression, guessing madly at their responses.
Please. Todo empezó con los datos de frecuencia.
But say it in English, what the hell?
El patrón general parecía haber cambiado. Al principio, la investigadora de paracausalidad lo atribuyó a un error estadístico. Un fallo, tal vez. Oh, sorry. But after a few days and long nights of meticulous
you have to repeat from the beginning, mate.
That explanation only became less and less plausible. The odds of success and failure kept shifting, and the chance of repeating the previous result kept growing. It was as if someone had tampered with the rules and tweaked it to their liking. She took her findings to Amalfitano, the town of nothing, as they called it then. Near the old looms, she met a blind weaver who spoke softly of an old tale. I heard a strange rustling at dawn, like a die rolling along a wooden floor. Then the morning light dimmed and died. That was the last time I saw the sun, my own hands, or the threads I worked with. The second time I heard the die roll, I was told the oxen in the fields sank to their knees and never stood again. By the third roll, the fields were crawling with frogs. Plows ran over them, and some still writhed, squeezing themselves deeper into the cracks in the earth. The fourth time the die rolled, 10 dormice plunged into the sea in a strange sleepwalk, and 10 bears feasted for the last time before winter arrived. The final roll of the die
was cast in a cage during a duel. Before a crowd of eager eyes, the winner left with 10 pounds of gold, and the loser left with 10 flies, which fell on him to feast.
Whoa.
Um...
I think she skipped some part there. The quiet spread through their cell like a rolling tide.
Is that all?
Seems like it.
Well, there's more, but I haven't quite figured those parts out yet. Any thoughts? Anything. I can take it. Please, I really need some feedback.
Well, I thought he has something to do with the story of the prison.
I wonder if the protagonist ever finds this die of Babylon in the end.
Oh, Verton, it isn't a real die, it's just a metaphor.
Oh, I see. I must have missed that. Sorry. Still, it's a beautiful story. Sad, but beautiful.
The story is still too obscure, isn't it? Aleph warned me about this. In our last correspondence, he suggested adding the Blind Weaver to shed light on the hidden theme. It helped at first, but even with his sage advice, no matter how hard I tried, the plot just didn't seem to move forward. Feel stuck in that village with them, lost, dazed, isolated inside their small, disconnected moments. Something crucial is missing, leaving gaps between the characters and the scenes. Should I change the storyteller's perspective? Start a different angle? Or maybe rewrite the characters completely? What should I do?
Before the writers sink into a swirling vortex of self-doubt, someone decides to push for something tangible.
Apologies, but you said your story somehow connects to what's happening here in the Panopticon. What makes you think that?
That's what I was wondering.
It's a strange feeling. Like, everything here belongs to a dream I once had. Only, I can't remember it.
Do you mean that you have a sense of déjà vu? It's nothing to worry about. Our psychiatrist friend Kakania told me those moments are often the result of a dysfunctional connection between two parts of the brain. Like a little glitch in our heads.
No, it's nothing like déjà vu.
The storyteller snaps back, politely agitated.
Déjà vu is a single moment, a specific situation. But here it's everything. La sociedad, the rules, the idealist, even the incidents in the gallery. Each one unfolds in a similar pattern, like the grooves on a record, telling a story I feel I've listened to before. Amalfitano and Comala. They're two sides of that same record, playing out the same tune. Whatever happens in my story seems to be happening here too. I had that feeling when I met you as well, Miss Verton. At first I thought it was only an interesting coincidence. You're much like the first character in my story. A traveler with a suitcase.
The girl rumbles on, desperately relating to her characters.
But then I realized, the doctor, your Dores, she's like the Blind Weaver who lost her sight to the die despite having always been faithful to it. And the jailer, she's the bank clerk who assisted the corporation in taking over the town in order to escape her past. And the idealist, he's the murdered donkey driver, and the die of Babylon. No. Mis queridos amigos ficticios. ¿Qué rayos les está pasando?
Wait. Are you saying that everyone we've met here matches a character from your story? Like some kind of archetype? That sounds unbelievable. But then again, maybe you're onto something. You see the world through a different lens, that none of us share.
Not just the characters. The events here are mirroring my story too. Aleph, he's the only one who truly understood my story. If things are playing out just like my novel, then maybe Aleph is in fact still here.
Are you suggesting that someone is controlling the Panopticon in order to make it follow the same plot as your story? That they've set the rules, started the poetry group, planned the attack on the Idealist, and tried to prevent us from finding Dr. Dores? If that's true, Miss Recoleta, it's very likely that the one acting against us is in fact Aleph himself.
Recoleta never expected the chain of reasoning to unravel this way.
But No. How could that be possible?
She interrupts only for confusion to creep onto her face a moment later.
Why? Why would he do this? I don't see any reason why he'd be connected. He's an intelligent, cultured, and profound person, not a common killer. No, none of this adds up.
Remember, Dr. Doris was brought to Ushuaia by the Xeno rebels. And we know they're connected to Manus Vindicte. If this Aleph really is hiding Doris from us, he may be working with them.
Recoleta stares blankly for a time before clumsily shifting the topic.
Oh, my... Soneto. I didn't know you had such a flair for stories. Maybe you should join us and become a visceral realist too. I think you're only imagining things. Perhaps you were inspired by this strange prison?
Perhaps we all need to start writing our own stories. Come out now. Whoever's out there, speak up. How can we help you?
Who's there?
Ruth listening to three ladies talking. Eh? Seriously, we're starting a fight.
Embrace rather than resist.
Oh no, is it Octavia?
Please stay behind me.
Más allá de please let awaken. 强梁既出，王有不为。
Idealismo, vuelos de fantasía, patrones ocultos.
Not a fan of my work, I take it?
En todos los lugares.
Please stay behind me.
Do I have to do this?
Case closed. I'll be sure to write a report and put it on your...
Easy. It's me, Garcia. We met at the gallery earlier. Please, I come in peace.
Recoleta pays no mind to the young man's explanation. Her focus holds on the woman beside him.
It's you, Octavia! The murderer herself!
What the...
Please, calm yourself, Miss Recoleta.
We still don't have proof that she's actually
The
did
jailer
it.
has already confirmed that she wasn't the one to fire at the Idealist. The shot came from somewhere else in the room.
Unless she can bend bullets. Recoleta bites her lips, giving up a little space to the intruders.
Miss Octavia, what brings you here at this hour?
I come here out of goodwill. Believe me, I didn't want any bloodshed either. I understand you just arrived today. There's something you need to know about the inmates here.
Their visitor's expression is wary and low.
We're outcasts, rejected by society and literature, and our privileges are limited within these walls. But before I started my own literature group, I struck a deal with the Panopticon authorities. If we cooperate and stay out of trouble, they'd leave us be. We could discuss literature freely and openly in Comala. Such a thing may seem trivial to you, but this is of immense importance to us.
Oh, there's no happier thing in this world than discussing literature. No one should ever put limits on it.
You're right, Recoleta. But we're prisoners here. There are certain rules we have to follow. Except, the idealist didn't see it our way. He refused to compromise, believing that the long poem and his so-called ism could break us free from the cage of the ever-watchful eye.
Perhaps he was right. You might have achieved more if you'd listened to him. After all, visceral realism keeps us connected to who we are. You have to believe in the truth of visceral realism, because out there, beyond these walls, many of us still do.
And what has it changed? Garcia, you're the latest inmate here. Tell us, 3 months ago, before they arrested you and took you here, what has the visceral realism movement accomplished out there?
Beside them, Garcia, who had been patiently leaning against the railing, produces a metallic vibration on its grace. A rough paper roll burns between his lips.
At first, it was revolutionary. Young poets joined in droves. We held gatherings. And the literary world seemed alive again. I was just a kid when the leading poets left the city. Everyone thought it was only temporary. But they didn't come back. And nothing has happened since. No one says it. But we all know. Visceral realism died in 1977.
I don't even know what is visceral realism.
No, not for me. It's not dead as long as people still believe in it. I believe in it.
Octavia ignores the childish remark. She knows that conviction can be as fragile as a spider's web.
Belief, faith, what is this obsession with the true self? Why does your type always insist on there being a true self hiding beneath our roles in society? Our disciplines?
Look at the idealist. He never once stopped fighting for what he believed in, even long after he was put behind these bars.
Idealist, what a name he gave himself. Who will he be when he finally breaks free from the eyes of the central tower? When he's left without his willful audience? And that is a truth even he is terrified of.
Miss Octavia, I hope you've come with something more important to share than just some criticism of the idealist.
Martin is always the voice of logic here.
You're right. I have an important message for you. Dr. Torres, I heard you were looking for her. The woman from the Sao Paulo Veterans Residence. She used to write under the name Erd, didn't she?
Yes, that's right. Do you know her? You're the first person I've met here to speak plainly about her. Do you know where she might be?
We crossed paths, but only briefly. I'm not sure where she's gone. Maybe the authorities know. However, she left this with me. I think you'll need it more than I do.
What? Octavia hands over her personal folder. Before they might open it, she has already turned to leave.
We have other matters to attend to. I'll leave you to your business. Garcia, shall we?
Wait, I thought you were from the opposite side. The opposing party, I mean. Their visitor lived in haste, their faces and expression obscured by the night shadow. The Foundation investigators opened the worn manuscript folder with caution.
The physician told me the horrifying truth about the Panopticon of Kamala and the power behind it. Manus Vindicte.
It's Manus! Of course it's Manus.
By becoming the Panopticon's sole patron, they seized control of the resources and the allocation system, turning this place into a living hell. I suspect that the physician, the current highest authority here, is responsible for this situation. I discovered that the inmates were put through brutal training, even when they were too sick to carry out their tasks. They also forced pure-blood Arcanist inmates to wear their masks, effectively turning them into murmuring puppets.
Just as we suspected. Manus Vindictae is orchestrating everything.
But why? What's with this thing? What is
No
this
wonder we
place?
didn't find them in the city. They've been hiding here all along.
No one would have thought to come looking for them here.
They snapped the folder shut. A familiar signature seen on the forward page of A2 magazine, and the receipt found in Sao Paulo heartfelt home.
But why would Miss Octavia bring this to us? What's in it for her? Do you think she's trying to mislead us, Timekeeper?
Maybe. But the handwriting in that notebook is most certainly Erd's. If she's leading us astray on purpose, why? Miss Recoleta, what do you think? Could she be Aleph?
Not a chance. Haven't you seen how she denies everything beautiful in the world? Aleph would never be so biased. No. Aleph is like a mirror. He reflects both light and shadow. But, Octavia, maybe she hasn't looked at the shadow within for a long time. I know that look on her face. It's the look of a writer. I've seen so many like her during my trip. The faces of a lost, struggling generation.
Under the night sky, Komala Prison stands like a forgotten gravestone covered by fine, cold snow. In a room repurposed from a prison cell, 3 girls in search of someone share an absurd, bizarre tale. Meanwhile, at the entrance of the central watchtower, a jaguar knocks on a secure door.
Dr. Merlin, I'm here to report on today's events.
Come in.
Is that what is his name? Aleph? Frantic ratting breaks the quiet of the room. The jailer's visit doesn't deter the man behind the desk. He continues writing, wholly absorbed, as if each letter were filling the world around him.
There was a commotion in the gallery today, sir. An inmate known as the Idealist was severely injured. The inmates nearby said he lost consciousness from blood loss. However, after we put everyone back in their cell, the Idealist was gone. I made a sweep of the grounds, but there was no trace of him. It's possible that he regained consciousness and went into hiding. I'll perform a full search tomorrow.
So it's not the physician? The jaguar finds herself quite unexpectedly concealing the truth about Pablo.
No need.
Sir?
He knew the consequences of breaking the rules, did he not?
Sir, with all due respect, I think today's incident proved just how dangerous it is to let the inmates keep their weapons. We never should have let them walk around with deadly weapons, even if we had to. We should have doubled the guards. We can't expect them to follow their own rules simply out of fear of the central tower.
The physician interrupts her sharply with no hint of concern.
Such matters fall beyond your purview, jailer. You only need to do what's required of your title. Is there anything else?
There is another thing. 2 guests from the Foundation came through today. They said they were looking for someone named Doris. They've shown a willingness to cooperate, though they were involved with the incident in Corridor Zero.
The sound of writing continues. Her report is disregarded. The jailer takes a deep breath. The next part is difficult to say.
Sir, there is one more thing. I told Miss Octavia we're short on rations, and she's adjusted the inmates' portions accordingly, but that won't last long. Manus Vindicti stopped providing supplies back in March, and Sino has collected all the prisoners they had previously placed in her custody. I just wonder why they have so suddenly withdrawn from Ushuaia and brought all the prisoners with them. I also noticed that we haven't received any orders from the government since Warden Tartuffe was transferred. In fact, we haven't had any communication with them at all.
Are you guys being abandoned?
Sir, in frank terms, we're facing down a serious shortage of medicine, food, and basic supplies. At this rate, the Panopticon will soon be unable to operate. Where will our inmates go then?
The man before her said nothing for a long time, his pen still flickering over the page.
Can we ask the Foundation for help? They've sent their people here. Maybe they're interested in the Panopticon? I could arrange a meeting if you like.
You're unusually talkative today.
The man finally stops writing and looks up.
Pardon, sir?
Oh, poor kitty.
That's fascinating, you know. You've become so much more concerned about this place and its inmates than when you first started. You are now dictated by your title.
I didn't mean to overstep. I'm sorry.
You can go now. I have a great deal of work to do. Oh, and one more thing.
He beckons the jailer back before she leaves.
Make sure this month's Kamala Congress is held according to schedule.
Yes, sir.
The Jaguar disappears beyond the door, metallic footsteps fading into the distance. Only then does the physician allow his suppressed frustration to surface.
How many times have I warned you about this? The idealist has to go. He's nothing but trouble for us. You're too soft on him, Aleph. Look at the mess he has us in now. Calm down.
Oh?
He's a rabble-rousing thief, a self-destructive maniac, a snake in the grass. He even stole the tea of Kamala from me. He's nearly ruined everything we've worked for.
It's the same dice, or the dice that he picked from the Idolist. The man angrily raises the once lost and now found die. In the dim room, it flickers with a comforting glow.
It's only a die, Merlin. It does nothing more than a die can do. You were there today. You saw what he did. He managed to change the Panopticon with this die, even if only for a second. He'll ruin my work, Aleph. He's a slave to his passion. His head is filled with impulsive thoughts. I don't trust him. We can't trust him. I've done everything you've asked. Now it's time to do your part.
Aleph responds with indifference to the physician's frustration, continuing his writing without pause.
Time's ticking down. I can't afford any further mistakes. No one can be permitted to stop my experiment in the Panopticon. I'll prove it to them that we have found the path to the ultimate answer.
La cabaña con el techo azul estaba silenciosa como siempre. En un sueño fugaz, la investigadora de paracausalidad descubrió la verdad detrás del dado de Babilonia. Examinó cuidadosamente los patrones ocultos, como un astuto astrólogo rastrea los movimientos de las estrellas. Lo que pueda parecer errores o accidentes no niega las verdades del destino. Por el contrario, afirman su existencia. Solo pregúntale al gran Heráclito. En un universo no observado, El dado de Babilonia gira perpetuamente, dictando el destino de todos en un tiempo que es tanto infinitamente largo como infinitamente corto. Mira, cerró los ojos. Respetaba la aleatoriedad de los números y el destino. Respetaba el juicio del dado. De lo contrario, se habría perdido sumisamente en los huecos del tiempo y bajaría para siempre como un fantasma en el olvido.
In the solemn prison hall, under the half-light of the next day, the prisoners of Komala gather. Octavia steps onto the podium with a stern expression.
First, allow me to make one thing clear. I had absolutely nothing to do with what happened to the Idealist yesterday. I swear it on my career as a writer. As you all know, the Idealist and I are the representatives of the two factions of La Sociedad de Poetas de las Américas. As you also know, we have been at peace since the Let Sleeping Dogs Lie agreement was signed a few months ago. Despite our differing views, we have coexisted to this day under the watchful gaze of the Central Tower. Rest assured that we will work tirelessly to locate the missing Idealist.
Don't put so much pressure on yourself, Miss Octavia. His death wasn't your fault. After all, he was the one who threw the first verbal dagger.
The murmur cascading below reached the ear of the prisoner from another faction.
Show some respect, you morons. The Idealist is missing, not dead. I'm sure he'll show up in one piece before we know it.
Better face the hard truth now, Roberta. Though, I have to say, it won't be easy for you to find a no leader as mad as him.
A polite cough from the hostess paused the heated debate.
Please, everyone, quiet down. According to the agreement, today's Congress should have been chaired by the Idealist. Since he is still missing, I will be acting on his...
Pardon my lateness. Go ahead. I'm ready to moderate.
Unfamiliar footsteps break the regular pattern of events. The jailer leads her visitor to the entrance of the prison hall.
Miss Vert, I looked over the incarceration and visitor records from the past 6 months. There was no mention of anyone named Doris.
Then it seems only the physician knows the whereabouts of Dr. Dorez. Miss Jailer, we need to meet with the physician. It's important.
Listen, you really shouldn't take the inmates' ramblings too seriously.
Considering the identity of the person before her, the jailer softens her tone.
But if it's as critical as you say, I'll make another request later. That said, I'm afraid the meeting won't happen for at least a few days.
Understood.
For now, please join us for today's Congress.
Espectacular! Do you hold literary salons like this every day? This place is practically a writer's paradise. So, you're the host of the salon, Octavia? I say we set aside our differences and have a titillating literary discussion.
You've come at the right time. You may serve as witnesses for the Congress alongside the jailer, like a citizen's jury in a court.
Your suggestion aligns with the congressional rules. Very well.
Huh? Congress? Witnesses? Isn't this a salon? Which topic are we discussing? Literary theories? Schools? Principles? Languages? Oh, narrative perspectives?
None of those.
Octavia lowers her head, giving her questioner a long and deep look.
This Congress is about the randomness of fate, Miss Recoleta.
Randomness of fate?
Ushering into confusion and bewilderment, the jailer's voice rises into a triumphant introduction.
Dear visitors from the Foundation, allow me to introduce the Komala Congress. What happened yesterday was merely a brief anomaly. In the Panopticon, spontaneous order among the inmates is the norm, and the Comala Congress serves as its truest reflection.
Spontaneous order?
Yes. Through the Congress, the inmates assign and distribute medication, communal duties, and rest periods. They are entirely self-regulated.
Her tone is filled with pride.
I hereby announce the commencement of the 7th Comala Congress.
A die? As her words fall, Octavia takes out a worn lottery box and a small trinket from her hand. The prisoner moves in perfect order like a swarm of ants.
A cardboard box and... is that a paper die? It has 20 sides.
Huh? We carefully examine hidden patterns, much like an astute astrologer tracks the movements of the stars.
Isn't this...
From somewhere in the audience, the girl unconsciously mumbles a revelation.
Isn't this just like the Die of Babylon? The MacGuffin that weaves through the entire plot? The infinite symbiote of fate? And the symbol that compresses time into a shriveled circle?
What may seem like errors or accidents doesn't negate the verities of destiny. On the contrary, they affirm its very existence. Just ask the great Heraclito. In an unobserved universe, the die spins in perpetuity.
Dictating the fate of all in time that is both infinitely long and infinitely short?
Look, I've closed my eyes. I respect the randomness of numbers and destiny. I respect the die's judgment.
As the prisoner recite their announcements, the author voice becomes more and more sluggish.
Otherwise, we will acquiesce and lose ourselves in the gaps of time and wander forever as ghosts in oblivion.
I don't understand what's going on. Oh, but the irony that I probably have more idea what's going on than anyone here.
Miss Recoleta, this is all in your novel, isn't it?
I'm afraid so. The recitations, the references to an astrologer and Heraclito, they couldn't possibly be just a coincidence. Then, could it be? Will they look to the die to dictate their fate?
The girl's audible shock doesn't affect the proceeding on stage. The Congress continues.
I shall perform the first roll. Its result will determine the subsequent roll order for this Congress.
The hostess tosses the 20-sided die into the cardboard box and begins.
The result is 5. This check complies with the prerequisite conditions of the ruling of the die, and the standard roll order has been established. Inmate Jose, please come forth. You are the first in the initiative order. Therefore, fate's judgment shall fall upon you before all else.
I don't quite understand what's going on here.
Me? Okay.
The prisoner steps forward, taking the fragile box in his hand, shaking it to roll the die of absurd. The die stops, and just like that, a simple number decides his fate.
17! It's 17! Ah, what a wonderful number! 17! Like an oasis in an endless desert.
The result is 17, and the score combination 6 + 4 + 4 + 3. According to the ruling of the die, he shall receive 60 risperidone tablets, 40 clozapine tablets, and 40 diazepam tablets. Additionally, he will assume the role of cultural manager of the Comala Congress.
What? They're deciding position and reaction with this?
Before he takes office, Inmate Jose must clean the first restroom for the next 7 days.
Wonderful! I'll gladly clean the toilet. I've got the brooms here, the toilet detergent, oh, and the toilet brush too. I have been waiting for this opportunity. As cultural manager, I will speak with every inmate and complete the Comala memoir, finally capturing the moments when literary sparks ignite and explode.
Next is inmate Eduardo. Please come forth.
The man in question is a nervous mess. His gaze flickers, his eyebrow 5-4 space on his forehead, and his teeth clash against each other in turmoil.
But I can't remember the ruling of the die. I can't remember anything. Damn it. Sorry, Senora Octavia, but I don't think I can do this. I didn't get any medication in the last Congress. I've had multiple episodes. It's like my brain's jammed or something.
It's all right, inmate Eduardo. It's easy. You don't need to know the rules to roll the die. Give me your hand, I'll help you.
The prisoner follows suit, hands trembling as he shakes the box, the only thing he can do.
My sincerest apologies, inmate Eduardo. The die dictates that you must voluntarily descend into the sewers and write the thematic keyword that currently causes you the most anxiety on the walls.
I thank you very much, Miss Octavia. I think my head's about to split in half. I need a moment to rest before I head down there and fulfill my destiny.
Clutching his head, the prisoner leaves. His steps heavy, his hands empty, but his brow finally falling at ease.
Jailer, are you really letting them make every decision with the roll of a die? Eduardo is clearly in a much more dire condition than Jose. The medication should have been given to him.
As I said, this is how the inmates of the Panopticon maintain order. The physician periodically provides medication, food, and other necessities, and the inmates distribute them in this spontaneous and efficient manner.
Just not efficient at all.
Neither authority nor violence is involved in this process. This is what sets Comala apart from all other custodial facilities.
Is that it? You abdicate all agency to the roll of a paper die and call it the randomness of fate? What kind of sick joke is this?
Please calm down, Recoleta. This is the method that the inmates have collectively decided to recognize. They're prepared to face the possible sacrifices that it brings. This isn't about you or me. It's not our place to interfere with a procedure that has been proven both pragmatic and effective. My duty is to assist the inmates in maintaining order through the methods that they have established. And yours is to witness their self-governance, not judge it.
The jailer takes a deep breath, her words clearly meant to convince herself as much as anyone listening.
If everything somehow unfolds as it does in my novel, then every role is already predetermined. Vertin, do you remember the story I told you last night? The odds of both success and failure were consecutively multiplied.
I remember.
As soon as a character experiences a failure, they continue to suffer failures in an endless chain reaction. None of Eduardo's future dice rolls will ever result in a number higher than 10. At this rate, this system, this sociedad, ruled by the dice of Babylon, is bound to collapse.
She looks around, realizing that her words, weighty as they seem to her, have garnered no attention.
Eduardo will never receive any medication. The moment he writes the keyword on the wall could very well be the moment he spells out his own death. No, I can't let this happen. I have to do something.
Recoleta rushes to the stage.
Wait, Miss Recoleta! What are you doing?
Few soldiers would appreciate on that. Exactly. Thanks. Well, with what we're. But it didn't mean I just. Haven't I? But.
I think I can do one more because the stamina is almost run out anyway. On the stage, Octavia remains the picture of serenity as she orchestrated the Congress.
Miss Recoleta, as a witness to the Congress, you have the right to express your doubts calmly.
Listen, you...
She recalls the complaints of her two former companions, the jailer dismissals, and the confused expression of every editor she has ever faced. If she were to lay out every detail of her novel here and now, she would only get the same response.
No, it's nothing. It's just that I'd like to participate in the dice rolling ceremony. May I?
Of course. The very fact that you're standing here in the Panopticon proves that you share a common fate with it.
Recoleta surveyed the prisoner waiting to cast their die. Their expressions are serene, untroubled, calmly awaiting their fate. The joys and misfortunes of those before them do not affect the long, winding you in the slightest. She takes a deep breath.
It doesn't matter when I roll the die, since the rolls are simply a reflection of the randomness of fate, right?
Precisely.
Then I'd like to perform my role after the 27th inmate. Is that all right?
As you wish, Miss Recoleta.
What's this number coming from? What the?
I have all the essentials for writing poetry.
We're
You,
just
me,
fighting
and
a
our
can
opponent.
of... Oh, what is this?
En todos los momentos. Listen. Awaken. Idealismo. Vuelos de fantasía. Patrones ocultos. Más allá en todos los momentos. Please stay behind me. Do I have to do this? Cosmología, filosofía clásica. El fundamento del mundo. Más allá del concepto mundano del tiempo. 降梁既出，王有不为。
Regaining control of our
Idealismo,
bodies.
vuelos de fantasía, patrones ocultos. Like everything. Please stay behind me.
I am the waves in the ocean and the stars in the sky.
En la acumulación de laberintos, suéltalo todo una vez más.
Be careful. My responsibility.
To the left, the right, to the left. Listen. Shine. Look.
You won't get away. Case closed. I'll be sure to write a report and put it on your table. And please don't forget to check the previous reports too, ma'am.
Did you know there's like some hidden voice line after that?
It seems fate favors you, Miss Recoleta. Here are your supplies. Please be sure to follow the distribution rules of the Congress. This is an essential structure of Comala, and a belief shared by all its inmates. Honor it.
Just as I suspected. These supplies belong to me now, Octavia. I'm free to use them however I please.
Recoleta strides toward Eduardo, who has curled up curled up in a distant corner, clutching his head, and his body trembles in silence.
Here, Eduardo. Take them.
But I haven't fulfilled my destiny yet. These precious tablets and capsules, I can't accept them. They are gifts from fate. The die has placed them in your palm.
But I don't need them. You do.
Thank you, kind señorita.
The prisoner trembling stops. He blankly pinches his arm, as if trying to distinguish reality from dream. Then all at once, he snatches the medication from her hands and shoves it into his mouth. Huh? Oh? What the hell, dude? One?
Eduardo, what's wrong? Are you taking the medicine right now? There's no need to rush. There's plenty of it. You can have it all.
Por Dios, Eduardo! How could you squander fate's gifts like this? Kind señorita, please, give me the medication. I need it more than anyone else.
Oh no, is she going to destroy the...
I'm the one who needs the most. Give me the medication. I beg of you. With the protection of these amulets, I might finally be able to get a peaceful night's sleep. No more trembling floors and wailing ghosts.
The prisoner shove and struggle, countless hands reaching toward the helpless writer, trying to snatch the small round pills of salvation.
Enough! Enough!
A blue glow spreads through the room, forcing the prisoner to clutch their heads and fall down to their knees. Their riot comes to an abrupt halt.
You shouldn't have done that, Miss Recoleta. Your ignorant generosity could shatter the very basis of our survival.
She steps toward Eduardo, now writhing in pain, and picks up a few stray capsules scattered at his feet. The pills dissolve into a stream of voided sand, vanishing as it pours through her fingers.
We have never had such chaos at the Congress. Understand this. We rely only on the randomness of fate to distribute supplies and assign responsibilities. If you disrupt the status quo, the entire system of the Panopticon will collapse beyond repair. It is only by respecting the arbitrariness of fate and adhering to the rules of the Die of Babylon that we have kept this place functioning all this time.
The Die of Babylon? Tell me, how did you know this name? Are you the one orchestrating this whole thing?
Aleph. Recoleta, equally confused and furious, grabs the hostess collar.
¿Podría ser? ¿Eres Aleph? ¿Tal como sospechaba Verdun?
Let go of me, Miss Recoleta. Have you gone mad? The role of the die is absolutely random. I'm not orchestrating anything. Before the Congress began, I made an oath. I intend to keep it.
Please, calm down, Miss Recoleta. I think she's telling the truth.
Wait, give me a second. She lets go of her grip as the reality of their situation dawns on her.
Sorry, Octavia, but please, you have to tell me how you learned about the Die of Babylon. I must know. Only my pen pal and I should have any knowledge about this die.
I heard about it from the physician. He described it as a symbol of collective consciousness that we could harness to maintain immaculate order in the Panopticon. The Comala Congress was coined, iterated, and perfected by the physician based on this concept.
The physician again. Everything eventually leads back to him. Just as we suspected. I see.
Recoleta casts her eyes over to the silent jaguar, who has remained wordless from beginning to end, watching it all unfold.
Jailer, we have to meet with the physician in person. Now.
As I've told you many times, Dr. Merlin is too busy at the moment. I couldn't possibly trouble him over a novel and a pen pal. They are just fantasies.
Couldn't you make an exception? What if they're not just fantasies? What if they're tied to the very survival of this place? Miss Recoleta said the Panopticon could collapse because of the Die of Babylon.
Are you seriously telling me you believe that nonsense?
It wasn't nonsense, nor are they fantasies. You saw with your own eyes how I won the die roll.
It was just a coincidence.
The jailer's words are at odds with the subtle motion of her eyes and face. The Foundation investigator sees on a prime opportunity to apply pressure.
What if we present you with stronger evidence to prove it's more than just a coincidence? If everything in the Panopticon proceeds according to Miss Recoleta's novel as she says, she should be able to predict what happens next, including the roll results of the absolutely random die.
That's right. The Die of Babylon isn't random at all. It's nothing but a supercilious fraud veiled under the guise of fate, and an actor of the inescapable loop of history. And not one of you is paying attention to me whatsoever.
Ugh, to hell with this era of ignoring unknown writers. Miss Recoleta, please make your prediction for the next inmate's die roll. This way, you can prove to Miss Jailer the irrefutable connection between Kamala and your novel, The Rise and Fall of Sanity.
You finally remembered its name! Oh, what sweet balm to my spirit!
For her.
Miss Octavia, please continue the Congress and let the next inmate perform their role. Then Miss Recoleta's statement will be proven true.
The hostess of the Congress remains non-committal.
I appreciate the reminder. No matter the interruption, the Comala Congress must go on. Though not for Miss Recoleta's sake, of course. Next inmate, please.
Following the die designated order, the next prisoner steps forward to roll.
Hello, inmate Garcia. You know what to do.
Of course.
La sexta cara. Un pilar roto. El flujo de la fortuna y la calamidad.
So the result of the next roll will be a 6.
Her prophetic precision plunges the whole of new encounter into breathless silence.
As fate reveals, the number is 6.
Just as Miss Recoleta predicted.
That could still be a coincidence. Do it again.
The hell, Jailer! Can't be! This 20-sided die.
La tercera cara. Una cadencia desconcertante, sin un verdadero principio ni fin. La cuarta cara. Un hombre que se ahogaba usó el último de sus fuerzas para nadar a la seguridad, solo para descubrir que había confundido un espejo con la superficie del agua. La 17ª cara. Cojeaba hacia el distante oasis, solo para que la débil humedad y la inquietante quietud revelaran cruelmente que era un espejismo. La sexta cara. Otro pilar roto con grietas idénticas a la última. Confirmó la hipótesis de la investigadora de paracausalidad. Este lugar solía ser un edificio circular.
Is that enough? I've almost finished the entire chapter.
It's not possible.
One coincidence after another begins to stir into an uproar. The coincidences appear endless.
Who are you?
I'm sorry if this comes as a shock to you, but I did warn you, Octavia. Now it's proven. The Die of Babylon is anything but the so-called randomness of fate.
Have you been sent here by some god? Or are you a hobby prophet? Have you brought this knowledge to save us? Or to shatter our beliefs? Our world?
A question destined never to need an answer. She lets her eyes fall into the cardboard box and onto the 20-sided die. The ridiculousness of his nature becomes starkly visible.
What is this thing in my hand? What are we? What is this prison?
I don't know if it's some kind of sorcery or arcane skill, but it's unfathomable. I'll take you to the physician. Not because of your earlier request, but because the situation has escalated beyond my means. The overseer of the Panopticon will decide how to handle your situation.
To be honest, Miss Recolata, I wasn't sure you'd be able to correctly predict everything.
Timekeeper, are you saying that you risked everything on a hunch?
It worked, didn't it?
Come with me. Dr. Merlin's office is in the central tower.
For her part, the now vindicated writer follows at the end of the line, letting her mind race like a bullet train.
En la sexta versión de mi novela, todos en el pueblo mueren a causa del dado de Babilonia. Porque solo la muerte puede cerrar el ciclo de la historia. Y carcelero, eres el empleado del banco, ¿verdad? Entonces, al final, también sufrirás un colapso como el empleado del banco, cuando se da cuenta de que él y el pescador de dunas son la misma persona. If all of this is tied to the rise and fall of sanity, then, as its creator, I will get to the bottom of this.
Oh, it's getting... The mysteries start to unravel bit by bit. But too bad it's already late for me, so I have to stop right now. I'm gonna continue tomorrow to find to see the truth. I think I will be able to finish the rest of it tomorrow. So yeah. So thank you all for coming, and I will see you on the next stream. Till then, bye bye and take care.